Ericsson shot out of the hole was absolutely insane, and obviously, you know, Ollie Eriksson very talented. But I like the humility. He says 22 was a crap year. His number's 23. It's 2023. Maybe it's his year. First race here in 2023. So basically, you know, target's on his back now. There's the number there for Kevin Eriksson. Travis, the course is just absolutely transforming from yesterday to today. Do you like the implementation of those tires, kind of cutting the apex, the slush out of it, as opposed to just staying with that line?
Hey, I'm just here to drive, man. It's the same for everybody. Obviously it's been making some passing is available as well. So you know, like I said, just whoever's in front has to also think about, instead of just blocking, it's not blocking because there's a chainsaw behind you. Yeah. So Oliver did an amazing job. He's fantastic. The Eriksson's starting in front line is going to be awesome. But dude, I got a heat with Meek and the points leader. This is going to be a knockdown drag out for the next battle.
Well, and notably, Kevin was in the second row and he went around the current points leaders of Robin Larson and Andreas Backerud. So think about that. Maybe there's some fresh ice to get that contact patch. So that's going to be firmer ice. So again,
Travis was on row 2 as well.
No,
so
but if you're going,
it's on.
When you go to where, when you go to where they start, it's so our takeoff.
Don't let the secret out. We got to take a break. So don't let it out just yet. Don't go anywhere. Nitro Rallycross. Travis, get out here. Go racing. All right, back to the action here, side by side. We got that. The red flag. Get the restart. We got him rolling, but looks like we got him back out on track. So unfortunately, we got hot air balloons too. Those showed up just randomly. I don't know if they around the world in 80 days here just decided to land. But you see Tufo there on that second row. Mr. Tufo, I've announced his name in the drifting world, so it's great to see him out here in side by sides. All right, we're ready to race, man.
Gonna get going again, yeah. So
full restart.
We had 9 entries. We've lost a couple because they lost, as we said, just a few starts, 1,400. Good luck finding those out on the track when the ice is melting. Out front, we've got on the right-hand side of the grid Joey Morrison, and on the left-hand side of the grid Mark Mayer. So it should be Mark Mayer, depending on which side of the grid they chose, of course. So Mayer versus Morrison on row 1. Last time out, it was either Villiard or Tilfo who came through from row 2. He's 319 on the outside. So are they going to get a good start from there or not? Last time I say, watch for the cars on row 2. There's the NRT RO, going to go green. Nose of the car coming up from row 2 again, super quickly goes for that hole in the middle and again gets the hole shot from row 2. That's just unbelievable. Finds great traction, gets into turn 1 quickest. Pretty sure it's Martin Villiard looking at the numbers on the side of the car. You'll have to forgive us, obviously this is the first time we've seen our Canadian friends racing side by side this weekend. They've all got different liveries, different numbers than what we see in Nitro Rallycross. Gregoire Michaud missing from this one. I say I went and spoke to his dad earlier on. There was supposed to be 3 Michauds. One his son, one his dad, and one his uncle. The uncle's car wasn't ready. The dad gave up his car because they needed the studs for the son's car, and now unfortunately Gregoire's not in it either. So
and Michaud's your uncle.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, all right, so Tardif, Villiard. Oh, we're taking out some cones. That's a souvenir from Nitro Rallycross.
That one's going for a ride.
Yeah. Yee-hoo. You're in the cone zone. I don't know. That thing's hitchhiking its way back to the city. So Villiard out front, Meyer, Morrison, Tufo, Gosselin, Tardif, and Michaud.
You're not saying the racetrack's been boring road cones off the off-road works, eh, Jared?
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah,
construction sites again. Where are the cones? There were 20 cones here last night. Where have they gone?
Yeah.
Oh,
look at this. Got a tight race here between the 28 and 39. So Villiard and Meyer. So Villiard and Meyer.
It is, yeah. It is Mark Mayer in P2. Oh, right the way out
cones.
to the
nice
bank.
Job. 3 laps on this, and these things are chopping it up. So, like we were talking with Travis, just you know, the implementation of those orange tires, that is narrowing the course, but removing the vehicles and the tires from the slushy bottom portions of the course. And it is banked. You might not see it with your naked eye, but as a slight kind of 15-degree bank, there's a flat section up top, and we're talking about utilization where the fastest parts of the track are. Excuse me.
Mark Mayer got a brilliant exit, Jared, through turn 1. Backs it in here. Look, seems to have good traction on the exit from where he was. So the Elderman show was telling me that he was losing studs during the race. And do you remember yesterday we saw the yellow side-by-side was completely sideways at the end of the race, and we wondered if he had a transmission issue. I don't think he did. I think he was binning the studs out of the tyres, and then that was putting him in a situation where he had no traction on the exit. So he was super sideways, and that's something you have to actually manage. Now, the WRC drivers do this on events like Rally Sweden, where they don't want the tyre to heat up to the point where they start spitting out studs. I say heat up, move around. You're not getting much heat in the tyre in these temperatures, but you have to manage the studs.
Villiard, our points leader, our current leader, took the Joker lap, the Yokohama Tire Joker lap on his second lap, but Meyer, who is now the leader because of Villiard took it, could get it back, but you can see 5.2 seconds. We talk about the delta. What is the delta? Well, basically it's the amount of seconds between if you take the Joker lap. The Yokohama Tire Joker lap is longer. We've seen downwards of 3.2 yesterday. It went all the way up to almost 4 seconds, 5 seconds for now side-by-sides, given the condition of the surface of the track.
We're down to 3 laps for a lot of these races there. Again, that's to try and preserve the ice a bit. White flags out. Look at the crowd down there as well, Jared. I was just up racing RC cars a few moments ago with the guys from My Energy. Fraser McConnell took me out in the last lap.
Of course he did.
Binned me, dude, big time.
Yeah,
and Ollie Eriksson, he was cheating. His car was way faster.
You're talking about RC cars, right?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, but he did go through. No, yeah, we are talking about RC cars.
Guess what? Ollie Eriksson's on the front row. And Fraser McConnell was TQ yesterday.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
Just those that can't do, teach, and those that can't teach, announce.
Talk about it. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jared Deenda and Andrew Coley. We're the announcers today. We are your tour guides over the festivities going on. Meyer has the lead. He regained it. Villiard sitting second. Morrison there in third. Tifo and Gosselin bringing up the rear. Tardif is a DNF. All right, so bringing on home for our first side-by-side semifinal. A great race here, and Coley, I know you're such a fan of these side-by-sides, and I know he wants to start his own sanctioning body over there in UK. So Meyer looks like he's going to grab the win here. Final lap, bringing it on in. That one more corner, because the finish line is on the opposing side of the track. And there's the checkered flag. And Meyer will get the victory. So Mark Meyer, the 319, gets the win. Villiard and then Morrison in third.
Great stuff there for Meyer with the win over Villiard. Decent racing from the side-by-sides as always. A few people losing some of the studs out there. Look sideways. Bit of a show though for the fans at least. Hot air balloons in the background and a decent day's racing. Drone shots from up above. Got our guys here. There's the finish line. Beautiful.
All right, so it's a beautiful day. Many things going on. Congratulations to our side-by-side winners. Want to celebrate all things racing and all people involved in the motorsports world. Those letters and that number is now synonymous with one gentleman that left his mark on the motorsports world and the world in general. Ken Block, forever. And Ken Block is a great friend of mine, a great friend of yours, and a lot of us here in the paddock. Like I said, he was an architect, he's a designer, he's done so many things outside of motorsports, action sports. I mean, just a huge, massive loss in the motorsports world and the world in general. Coley, maybe speak about how he left his... He was American as all get out. He had stars and stripes. He rocked it loud and proud, but he left his mark internationally and across the globe.
We use the word legend and icon quite a lot, don't we, quite freely, but I really do believe Ken Block was one. And yeah, he came across the pond to our side, and we were so pleased to have this big superstar come over and take part in things like World Rally Championship, the World Rallycross Championship, and very competitively, I might add as well, always with a smile on his face, always bringing an awesome livery, always with the longest line for autographs and always waiting until the last person was gone from that line. He's had such a huge impact. How many people has he brought to the sport that maybe aren't like me, a motorsport geek, but are just a car person, and they all know who Ken Block is and who Ken Block was, and yeah, legend.
Changed the game, you know, leaving all the impressions, you know, on the internet and all these, you know, amongst the paddock. You know, I have this in my pocket here, and KB Forever, this was, you know, something he wore in his Gymkhana videos, and a lot of these drivers, he left his mark on him at a young age, at an old age. You know, want to shout out obviously his wife Lucy, his kids Leah, Kira, and Micah. Our love goes out to you, and our love, again, KB Forever.
I try and inspire people to be creative and live a fun life.
Whether it's Gymkhana, to just being the guy you want to turn to talk to, look up to. He was the guy. He was always the guy.
We all know he was just a legend of the sport. He transformed the way people thought about motorsport.
You know, the first time I ever met him, Gymkhana 3, and I was 12 years old, I was thinking. He gave me his racing shoes. I still have them to this day, standing in my house. Now I can understand how big he was and how much influence he was in motorsport in the world.
He was the guy to watch, so I don't think anyone has done it like him.
He made racing and cars what they are today. Like, he made it so much cooler than anyone thought it could be.
You know, for me, traveling around with him, like going from a kid from Bergen, Norway, west coast of Norway, all of a sudden I'm living like Justin Bieber, all because of Ken bringing me onto his team.
Ken's actually, for me, he's the guy who introduced me to Rallycross, and it's a sport now I love. I'm stood here really because of Ken highlighting this sport and showcasing the cars.
Ken revolutionized the industry, not just rally, but motorsports in general. And I think the reason why is because he loved to drive. Pure and simple. He wanted to be sideways. He wanted to be backing it in. And he started Gymkhana and built this industry on just having fun. Heck, he shut down San Francisco, did donuts on the Golden Gate Bridge. If he thought it was possible, he didn't let anyone else tell him it wasn't. And that's the thing that I remember most about Ken Block.
Ken always brought this mentality we all bring with us now. You know, we want to go out, make stuff that's never been done before, race hard, and have fun doing it.
In Phoenix, just before Christmas, Leah was there competing in the Can-Ams. On a message Ken later on that week, you know, congratulating him on his daughter being there and being so competitive. And the first thing he came back with, how's your family? You know, first things first, it was family, you know. Ken has left us now, but the man lived not even 10 lives. He showed life how to live itself. What that man done was incredible, you know, and yeah, his legacy will live on forever.
He's done so much for the sport, and every friend or family member you ask, everybody knows who Ken was. I think we have a lot of things to thank him for. So.
Ken and the family brought me along with them on every kind of journey. Like, we went to Ibiza, we have been skiing, we have been doing everything. Ken called me second son, you know. It was cool to be a small part of something big. Yeah, I just hope he's in an even better place now, and I'm sure he's gonna be a big star up there.
Well, as you can see, pretty emotional. It's all about celebration of life as opposed to, you know, being somber about it.
Some great quotes from our drivers there. They were brilliant. They all gave us plenty of time to talk through their very personal memories of a lovely guy who we're all lucky enough to spend some time with. And yeah, we're very grateful to the drivers for giving us that time and giving us those lovely
KB forever, baby.
Stories. Yeah, man, KB forever.
Awesome. All right, thank you so much for all you do, Ken. And let's keep the party going. Let's see who's going to come out on top. And we're seeing the Ericsson brothers. It's all about family, and that's what kind of resonates for me. And the motorsports family runs deep. The Nitro Rallycross road to the finish line. Ericssons are on the front row. Let's see if they can continue on. All right, where did the hot air balloons come from? You know, like where did those come from? Around the world in 80 days?
They arrived overnight. I don't know if you're really strictly allowed to fly hot air balloons into a town centre overnight, but I mean, what the hell, why not? I mean, you know, we all need warming up a little bit. If this tank gets any warmer, it may well turn into a hot air balloon itself, Jared. We've had to switch the one heater off. It was lifting up.
You've got a tan now. You look great. We're gonna send you back to the UK tanner than me.
Well, there you go. There you go.
All right, well, we're seeing the Group E re-enter the picture, and we are absolutely excited to see these gentlemen do battle. So where are we at as far as the roadmap? We see the Ericssons on that front row. They are guaranteed to be into the Grade A. 9 car cars, and there is that homage livery of Ken Block. Meek had some great words. I love that about KB. But Meek, he keeps breaking trends, man. He's got a heavy hand.
Just as I say, the drivers were brilliant. We could have made that tribute 10 minutes long with the stories we had. And, you know, maybe we'll do a director's cut one day, but it was lovely. So, yeah, really, really good stuff. And a wonderful tribute from Travis to Ken with that amazing livery. So we're at the semi-finals, Jared. So we've had one car go through from each of the heat races. Both of those were the Ericssons. Kevin Eriksson won Heat 1, Oliver Eriksson won Heat 2. Ollie got the win after, of course, Pastrana got the tyre off the rim. There was a little bit of contact, and, you know, Travis did say it's kind of like running a chainsaw on each wheel. So that contact you've got to be careful of. You know, I think it's fair. I get it. He was on the receiving end of a puncture. No one's going to do it on purpose, because I don't actually think there's any guarantee that you won't get a puncture as well. So bear that in mind. All the cars have got spikes. You know, it's not a James Bond situation. They're all running chainsaws on all four corners. You can get a good look at them there. 325 studs screwed by hand into each of those Yokohama tyres. Yeah, good stuff. So Pastrana's got to get it done. We saw people go to the whole shot from row 2 in both races. Pastrana inside, Kevin Eriksson outside. Front row doesn't really seem to be making much difference.
Wow, look at this staging.
If it is,
I don't. Is that grid, or are they just staging them? Is this pre-stage? Man, and you know, we talked about that second row being faster, and with this, there's only 4 cars, and guess what? Meek and Martel are going to be in that second row. Haven't seen Martel yet.
No, I was thinking the same thing, Jared.
He had some issues on that first heat, so hopefully he can get it together. And Larson is our current points leader. Pastrana says, I just got to finish the race. Don't make mistakes. Just do what you can do. Don't focus on what you can't. Had a great conversation with him at lunch, and just talking about, 1, movie quotes and having good laughs. 2, Scott Speed giving him some great advice. He's like, I'm not going to mess up. Scott says, don't focus on what you can't do. Focus on what you can do. He says, I'm going to have a great start. Attaboy, says Scott to Travis.
I'm going to have a great start this week. But he did threaten yesterday that he was going to beat himself up if he wasn't top 3. Interestingly here, we're not sure if they're staged or if they're on the grid. I've got a feeling they're on the grid, Jared. But it's either way. Larson, who is the pole man here. So Larson's the pole man for Semi 1, and he's chosen the high line. So Larson's gone high. We've seen, I say, people coming around the outside. There is Robin Larson on board. Pastrana's going to be low and Meek in the background, so doesn't look like Martel's making it.
That's
I don't know if his car's still in the paddock or not.
You know, if he doesn't show up, that he could go to the LCQ.
Okay, they say we're hearing from race control there's been a change that the Martel will be in semi-final 2. So
copy that.
That's a last-minute change. Make a note of that. Chris Meek reaches up to the handbrake. We're hearing a minute from race control. There's Meek looking down. Now, the launch control procedure on these cars is pretty complicated. You move the throttle pedal to get a percentage. So 100% throttle would be floor to the board, 0% throttle would be foot completely off the throttle. So you choose your settings. You can change the setting up to 60 kilometers an hour. That's around 35 miles an hour. And you set your map, you choose that, you set your percentage, and then you let her rip.
Here we are, 30 seconds to start, and here's our semifinal, Heat 1. And this is Group E. You can see on that pole position, Robin Larson, Travis Pastrana on the front row, and Chris Meek. And again, Connor Martel will be part of semifinal 2. So it'll be Connor Martel, Backroad, Fraser McConnell, and Ollie Bennett in semifinal Heat 2.
Here we go then, Pastrana inside, Larson outside. Remember, Larson has chosen that high line. Meek is on row 2. In both the previous heat races, we saw a driver from the second row go all the way to the front. You're sitting down on the grid there with Meek looking up at the lights. Can he get a good launch from there and send it around the outside? Just about see the light come on from Meek's car. He's down low, going to look for the gap in between them. Pastrana's got a good start, comes up over the bump. A little bit of wheel spin, Meek inside Larson. There's Roos coming up through the hood on Meek's car. Going to try and push Larson up wide in turn 1. Larson then around the outside, now gets his nose inside. Chris Meek into the door, Robin Larson. Side by side. They're going to drag race now all the way down the straight to the end braking zone. Watch for Meek going deep on the brakes. Larson going to go up high. It's Pastrana with the whole shot. Larson though right in behind Chris Meek. He's looking on the way into turn 3.
Meek is absolutely getting snowblasted. has it, a brave man. He dives in. The chainsaw hits him again on that back left corner. Guess what? If you're going to get in the way, you're going to get the chainsaw. And Travis says, hey, you can't avoid it, right? So Ollie Eriksson gave it to him, gave him the business. Meek goes for the Yokohama tire joker lap. Robin Larson does not. And guess what? Robin Larson's now going to get a little bit cleaner of air. Travis is loving this. His spotters saying, race your race. These guys are fighting behind you. Remember, 2 drivers move on. Just don't be in last. Don't be the last zebra. You're going to get in.
Yeah, Larson sideways here, Jared. He's sideways twice in turn 7. Chris Meek's gone joker, and I think he's well within reach already. He's only 1.7 seconds off the back of Larson, and Larson was right on the back of him. The delta to the lead is only about 3.5, and Chris Meek is only 3.8 off Travis Pastrana. So the World Rally legend, the man who's won the fastest rally ever, Rally Finland, with the fastest ever average time. That was, of course, on gravel, but he's no stranger to these snow and ice conditions. Meek down low on the straight this time. He's gone up to 4.4. So Pastrana's got his head down and he's going for it. Joker Predictor says 2.4. I think it's maybe a little bit longer, but we'll see.
All right, there we are, riding shotgun with TP. Travis Pastrana running that KB Forever livery, that 05 livery when Ken Block won the champion in stage rally, coincidentally with Vermont Sports Car. Robin Larson there in second. Travis Pastrana trying to pay homage in a grander way.
Larson there just round a left-hand tyre at the front, Jared, up the bank on the inside. It pushed his nose wide, then you have to wait on the throttle. So Meek's 3 seconds off the back now, so 5.6. Has he got a problem? So the Joker Delta looks close up, and mistake now from Pastrana. So where the grip levels are constantly changing on this track, as some of the ice is degrading now, we're getting a little bit of gravel coming up through it. You're getting to the point where you set rotation in the car, the grip level changes mid-corner, and it either bites more than you thought or less than you thought. So mistakes creeping in, that's going to make it interesting.
All right, there we go. So final lap, the white flag is out. Both Pastrana and Larson have not taken that Yokohama tire joker lap. So with a 5.5 second gap, if they run a clean, tidy line, look at Larson backing it in. That's not what you want to do, because Meek is going to close that gap and potentially get that second spot. But Travis, keep it clean, don't make mistakes, you're going to get in the finals.
Pastrana goes joker. Meek lost another 8 tenths in that sector, Jared, even with the mistake from Larson. I think Chris Meek is too far behind. I wonder if he's still got those gearbox gremlins. The team rebuilt one good gearbox from the 2 over the weekend. You're on board now with Larson, flicks the car to the right. There's that KB Forever on the dash as well. Coming up to the left-handed hairpin. This is a better drive from Travis Pastrana. He took the lead. I felt he was maybe a little bit ragged on that first lap, but Pastrana is going to take this one.
There we go. Travis Pastrana with that KB Forever livery is in the finals here on the maiden voyage of these ice machines, the chainsaws as he's calling them. 300 plus studs on each of those Yokohama tires. He DB'd on that first one, but guess what? He's in it to win it. Larson's going to come in second.
Yeah, Larson, championship leader, going to get across the line. So he books a spot in the final, but you know what, Jared? I don't think he'll be happy with row 3 in these conditions. So
will it be 3 or will it be 2?
No, he'll be row 3. Pastrana's going to be row 2 because Eriksson's row 1. Yes,
you were saying Larson.
Yeah, Larson.
Correct.
Yeah, so championship leader down on row 3.
Well, hey,
hold up.
Get the whole shot in the main event. Let's rock. We love you, Travis. We love you. Tears in our eyes. Well done. Well done.
That's cool.
The smile says it all. Got the whole shot. That you know what? That's not the exhale. That's the smile. There it is. Travis Pastrana is in the finals. Joining him, Robin Larson. Meek needs to go to the LCQ. So here we are taking a look at the replay. Travis Pastrana, you could see him on that start, on that grid. You saw how close he was because he wants to get as tight as he can and see how high he can get.
There's Pastrana through that little dip. Look, it's really wet in there now. Rear end of the car kicking up. I was impressed with the battle of Meek and look at Larson. He had to get on the bar there big time, didn't he? Literally went in completely backwards. It's Pastrana who takes the checkered flag. Good fighting, I say, from Meek in turn 1. Assertive, but not over-aggressive. Yeah, I think you can see he's developing and understanding the line between a good fight and a proper punch-up. So he was a bit upset, wasn't he, in Phoenix? I think that pass that he did was great in Phoenix, but the stewards just didn't like it, did they?
All right, as we are here in the booth, we throw it down to Katie Osborne. Katie, what's the energy like? What's the feedback? What's the driver's consensus? You have so many conversations going on.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting because, as you can see, we have some special guests around here as well. But one of the people that I really want to talk about is Fraser McConnell. He's one of those guys that's actually out there wearing yellow glasses, guys. Now, it's interesting. I asked him, is he the only driver that's wearing them? He says he doesn't know. It's not his problem to figure that out. But a guy from Sweden on his team gave it to him and told him with the contour. Now, it's all white out there. We know about the snow dust. We know how challenging it is when to drive on snow. I mean, you guys know it, right? How do you differentiate between it? And these yellow glasses might be the kicker. Your thoughts?
It gives more contrast, Katie. Yeah, so I'm sure you guys have been skiing. You know, you stick the yellow goggles on when you get flat light. The light is flat tonight. I actually think the light last night in some ways was easier because the floodlights give you really good contrast. That's like a sunny day when you go skiing. Yeah. Today's an overcast day. It's tricky.
Well, I really want to make a note too. As Robin Larson came in here, he kind of threw some stuff down, and you can tell he's quite disappointed in that regard. Robin, how would you rank that at this point in time? 1 to 10, how would you rank it?
-2, I think.
You thought so by your body language.
Yeah, I was totally sure I hit a puncture after the first jump. Other than that, it was like you have no lines to drive on and it's water everywhere. So yeah,
it's one of those times, guys.
Thank you so much, Katie. Yeah, you could read body language, and obviously body damage speaks volumes. There we are, taking a look at Chris Meek's vehicle. You can see the snow blasted. It looks like something from a Star Wars film, but no tauntauns here. And did we figure out where it's at?
Hoth.
Thank you. We were racking our brains. I have a Chewbacca collar, and you got you're right. Like you got the. Oof, they're smelly.
Thinking about that for 3 hours. I can remember Endor. I mean, if you don't like Star Wars, you're out of luck here.
There's the yellow lenses, and not just for Jamaica, but that is your TQ, your top qualifier. He's got the egg on the back in homage of, and obviously of the Cool Runnings. He's literally living up to the Cool Runnings. We'll be in Calgary for our next round of competition. Who's going to come out on top here in semifinal 2? And here we are, Group E. These are the drivers in it. Remember, taking the top 2, advancing on to the finals. Andreas Backrud and Fraser McConnell are TQ. Remember, when he got TQ in Glen Helen, he won the event. Second row, Connor Martell and Ollie Bennett.
So Fraser McConnell, top qualifier, couldn't get it done, Jared, in that heat race. He really, really wants to get it done now because row 2, I think the win is still on. I think row 3, it's going to be very difficult to get it from there when you've got 8 cars on track. This is absolutely critical. The top 2 go through, but the winner will be on the second row. Backrud and McConnell in that fight for the championship with Larson, who we know is on row 3. Here we go then. Martell on the back row looks to have got good traction, but Ben, in fact, beaten, gets into the side of him immediately. McConnell coming back at Backrud in the run to turn 1, but he's going to have to get up the banking now because of those tyres down in the bottom. It's Backrud with the whole shot. A lot of snow roost. It's in the back. I think Bennett has got around the outside of Martell, but it now looks like Martell in P3. McConnell coming in super tight as the snow flies up, and it is indeed Martell P3, but it's Backrud leading from McConnell.
You cannot even see the car in third position, Martell. He is blasted out. McConnell, he was really smart. He took that tighter line than Backrud. That keeps him out of that snow roost, and that's going to give him better vision. See how he dives in on the inside, doesn't get the slush in his face, but look how blinded they are.
Joker.
And there he goes for the Yokohama Tire Joker lap. Great execution there by Fraser McConnell. Connor Martell does gain that second position, but he could get it back. So he needs to nip on the heels of Martell in order to get that P2 in order to just advance on in the finals.
With it only being
number 1.
Yeah, with it only being 3 laps, he's going to hope Martell goes on the next one, Jared. I think he was kind of hoping that maybe Martell was far enough back that he'd get out of the Joker and remain in P2. That's given Backrud a little bit of breathing space. I think what you saw there as well with the roost is exactly what we were saying on the line here. Row 2, you get back to row 3, you're looking at the roost of 4 cars.
Who said that? Who said that?
that was the roost of 2 cars for the people in P3. So for me, if it comes from anywhere other than the front 2 rows in the final, I'll be pretty surprised.
All right, Andreas Backrud right now. Again, he's currently second in points. And you can see Fraser McConnell. He's fighting that. You can see that front left corner. Looks like he caught a chainsaw, one of those Yokohama tires, to that front left fender.
His visibility is too bad for me, Jared. He's 4.3 back. He's right in behind Martell. I might send Backerud now, to be honest, in response to it, and they do. So Backerud into the Yokohama Joe collab.
Oh my gosh,
mate! Is
that a crystal ball in your pocket, or are you just on his team?
Oh, look at the front end of Backerud. Good move, though. Good move. Retains the lead.
And look at Fraz jumps up to 2. So Connor Martell went for the Joker lap. I would say that Fraz kind of got a bit of a gift there.
That's not. Look at this. Yeah, with the front.
It's a chopped up hood. It's the hood. That's irrelevant.
It was good for the good tactics from Backerud's team. They saw they had the gap. They knew that if Martell went, that would then release McConnell. You give him a whole lap to try and close that gap down. Instead, take it now. You had 4.2. They were like, we've got enough now. Let's go. And in fact, now McConnell with his vision hindered. Remember, they sit left-hand side of the car, front of the hood up. First of all, he had roost. Now he's got bits of the car hanging off.
Yeah, just impeding on his vision, but his vision is tight and right. Remember, when he got the TQ at Glen Helen, he got the win. And can he do it again here? And again, all signs are saying that here's a Jamaican, race on ice just last weekend for the first time ever, gets TQ. He's around all these Scandinavians that know how to race on ice. I definitely would have, I asked you on the front end, do you think he would have gotten this?
No, we none of us felt that necessarily would, but he's proved his class this year. The DRRJC squad have said that basically Fraser McConnell has been the quickest driver on dirt. Once you get the studs on, it's hard for people at home to understand, but the grip level is pretty high. It's like driving on dirt. So Backerud coming through the left-handed hairpin. He's going to go through to row 2 and row 3 alongside championship leader Robin Larson. Looks like it's going to be Fraser McConnell. They're coming out now. McConnell sideways from McConnell. Look, Backerud sliding through the long right-hander. Backerud's wiper looks like it's not working quite right as well. He's lucky to be in the lead with pretty good visibility because that's what it looks like further back in the pack. Checkered flag. Backerud goes through along with McConnell. That is all 3 of our top championship fighters have gone through to the final.
Connor Martell, a bit of bad luck for him, just seems like here at this event, bad luck here and there, and now here he is. I mean, LCQ, we're only taking 2 out of those last 3 races.
And he's going up against the Excite Energy teammates, don't forget. So Meek is going to have his teammate in the race with him. Yeah, he's pleased. He's pleased. He needs that. At this point in the championship, Jared, you can't beat. Imagine there's 9 cars here. If you're one of the championship front runners and you don't make the final, it's game over straight away.
There are the race results. Andreas Backerud, Fraser McConnell advancing into the final. So Backerud, row 2, and Fraser McConnell are TQB row 3. That means he's got 4 cars in front of him that are going to absolutely snow blast him. Who said that? I don't know. I went snow blind. Guess what? Connor Martell, Ollie Bennett, and like you said, Mr. Meek are joining Connor Martell with that Vermont sports car vehicle. Those, again, out of those 3 cars, we only got 2 that are advancing on into the final. Nitro Rallycross making history here at Trois-Rivières.
That was the start. Look, Bennett and Martell got into each other immediately on the run to the first corner. I don't know where Bennett lost out, because at this point, Jared, he went into the snow roost, and by the time they came out of turn 1, Martell was in P3 and Bennett was gone, so we didn't see what happened there. That was Backerud. Nice little flick into the Yokohama Joker lap. Just see him backing it in, get the rotation on. Here comes Fraz on the inside line. So great tactics from DRRJC. Of course, with both these cars run by them, but sending Backerud when he had just enough time to come out still in the lead.
Here is how the ladder is shaping up. Our A-Shock Energy Nitro Rallycross road to the finish line. We got the bros up front. Kevin Erickson, Ollie Erickson. Second row, you got Travis Pastrana with that KB Forever, the number 199 livery. And then you got Andreas Backerud in second in points as well. And his teammate, the DRRJC RX Cartel, Robin Larson, our points leader, and Fraser McConnell, our TQ. That is stacked pack, ready to party here at Nitro Rallycross here at Trois-Rivières. Get over here, Coley. I think we have a good time over here.
We have a great time.
But you know who also has fun is our man.
Always more.
Again, this would not be Nitro if we did not have a Nitro family member, and that is Mr. Is it Sleddy Tommy? Is it Street Bike Tommy? Snow Sleddy Tommy?
He's just Danger Man.
I just know him as Street Bike Tommy. Okay, a.k.a. Tomas.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here, 3 Rivers, mixing it up with some fans. Apparently, my snow man building skills are terrible, like I said earlier, and I found some local professionals to help me out with building a snowman. So we're going to make a little bit of a competition out of it. So you guys, you're going to win some prizes. Whoever can come up with the best snowman is going to get a hat, or the winner is going to get a Nitro Circus VIP lanyard. You guys ready to build a snowman? Yeah. All right, go. Snowman, let's see what you got. All right, this is going to be crazy because the snow isn't that great. This guy, he said he had a plan. I don't know how good that plan's going, bro. He seems to be doing the best. You know what these... What do you got? You guys feel confident about these snowmen?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're winning so far. You got one base going, so I feel like this isn't really working out too good. Hey, you guys, change the plans. No more snowman. Hey, guys, snow angels. Yeah. Best snow angel wins. Get in the snow. Come on, guys. Patricia, jump in the snow. Yeah. Best snow angel. All right, let's see what we got. All right, you guys, who's got the best snow angel? What do you got? All right. I feel like that one's pretty decent. All right, so you guys, let me see what this one is over here. Let's see what we got. Oh, that's actually a pretty good snowman. Snow angel. All right, I'm gonna give you guys hats. You guys get hats. You guys did good. Sorry they're snowy.
Thank you.
And you get crowned the VIP. My man, he gets to go anywhere, do anything, hang out with drivers. Looks like I'm gonna have to find some more VIP passes because I feel bad. But thanks guys for participating. Give me some. Bang, thanks. Oh no! What are you doing? I was being nice. Get him. Is this real? I'm really. Oh my God. No! Stop! Where's this kid's parents? Stop. All right, I'm out.
What's up everybody, I'm Fraser McConnell. This is episode 7 of Inside the Team. We're in Canada, Trois-Rivières, and this is the first ice race on Nitro, so stay tuned. First time driving on ice was actually last week in Finland. I'd never done it before. Sitting good in the championships, I didn't want to come to round 7 with, never been on ice before, so got a little experience, but by no means to the likes of my Scandinavian colleagues. So going out there with a very open mind, ready to learn and try to be as fast as I can. It's very similar but also dissimilar to gravel. You get the same balance on the car when you're trying to rotate, but you get much more grip when you get on the accelerator and you're getting the wheels spinning. You get those spikes into the ground and it makes a big difference to a gravel tire. It's the most grip I've ever had in a car. Tarmac and gravel, everything combined, it felt like it was on train tracks. And I'd say that's the biggest difference with gravel and ice. The jumps here in Trois-Rivières aren't the biggest, not our normal Nitro style, which is a good thing for the first time on ice. The cars are heavier with these studs inside now. It's 325 studs on each tire, so just imagine how much weight that is spread across all 4 tires. You definitely don't want to land sideways or have any load on one tire because you could be having some punctures and we definitely don't want that happening. The cars are still operating at their peak performance and it's still incredible to drive a 1,000 horsepower electric car, especially not with some metal studs digging into the ground. It's definitely a new feeling for me. I really enjoyed myself and it will develop over the race weekend. The ice will get turned to snow, so everyone's looking to see what the changes will be.
It was almost as though Travis Pastrana just actually won the entire race when you climbed out of the car. It was fun. There was some fist bumps and there was some cheering happening from this massive crowd we have behind you. Your thoughts?
No, we definitely have the speed, but unfortunately we haven't been able to put the Ken Block Tribute car up where it needs to be this weekend. That's the top. So it's kind of it's so easy to make mistakes out there. Yeah. First round we were just trying to block the insides. We were going to have a good one when Oliver took the Joker, and unfortunately didn't make it to that point. So this time we got about a 3 to 5 car length lead, and then I'm not saying back it down, but we definitely have more. I know Oliver has more. I know all the guys, but it's such a tough race because all the ruts, anything, and like I found yesterday, yesterday. It's so easy to make a mistake. But again, if the person behind you is too close, they can ruin your day as well. So it's a tough one.
As it relates to not really, you had mentioned you haven't been in second really. You just haven't seen any bumpers. You've been behind. We have some wood chips flying behind us here. It's really close quarters. As it relates to kind of your ability to see out there, we know about the snow dust. We're not race car drivers, so that would be hard for us. How is it really difficult in your shoes and in your seat?
I haven't been behind anyone yet. I haven't finished there. I haven't, in practice, they were a little bit ahead. We've got great starts. Didn't matter from second row, first row. I haven't seen what everyone else has. I just got to limit the mistakes. Hopefully we'll get another great start, and hopefully I won't have to know that by the end, and we could just see the top of the podium.
Guys, it's good to see him smile, huh?
Yeah, big smiles from Travis there. Straight into the crowd, look to sign some autographs. He's top guy, he really is. There we are, pictures as well. Everybody loving it. Right, we are going to take a look back at some of the very best jumps from the year. This will have been a tough edit because there's a lot of them. That was starting off with Lytton Hill. Then we put a kicker in Sweden to increase the dirt jump. We had the first ever gap jump in Europe in Sweden. Yeah, okay, it wasn't a massive gap, but a gap's a gap.
Oh,
big enough,
man.
you know. That's that kicker on the tarmac there. I was the week before, and it was just a nice mellow jump. Nah, we're putting a kicker in. We need that to be bigger. Chris Meek back in, if you remember, off ERX with the huge. Look at that, Martel. Wow.
Well, that's where we saw, notably Andreas and Fraz going over the wall into the pond, and then going to that is
Glen Helen.
Glen Helen, thank you very much.
Yeah, Glen Helen with again different profiles. I like the fact that when we go back each year, the profiles of the jumps are slightly different. This was the run, of course, up towards the straight where you've got that rhythm section. Opposing hairpins left and right. That's where the championship's going to be decided. We've got a double header confirmed at Glen Helen, and Fraz got the TQ and the win there. Very quick indeed. It's a good track. Hairpins both ways. I think there was great racing in Glen Helen this year, Jared, and I'm excited to go back there to finish the season off.
Also, it's right down the freeway from me, so it's
I was going to say, no flights.
And we're going to party. You got St. Patty's Day. It's my youngest son's birthday, and we're going to crown a champion. Party at my house.
Definitely.
Terrible idea.
The whole Paddock?
I'm joking.
The whole Paddock.
No.
Jared, we go to Jared's. He's got a lovely place. Let's go and wreck it. Come on now.
No. My wife would not be pleased.
Steph would, Jared would be. That'd be the last party Jared ever hosts. This was Phoenix under
baby.
The lights.
The double header.
Look at that background. It was
love that track.
It was beautiful. I do love that track. It's got a real arena feel to it. Yeah, literally 80% of the track is right in front of the crowds, which is fantastic.
And a star-studded cast: Austin Cindric, Daytona 500 winner, Chase Elliott, and they aired it out. And a lot of these guys, they've never jumped a car.
Yeah, awesome, absolutely. Nearly as awesome as that drone shot was. The drone shot there, a sideways drone underneath a step-up jump. Absolutely fantastic.
Going underneath the vehicle there, and there we are seeing the vehicle of Andreas Backerud and that of Robin Larson, the number 4. The boy in blue, Snackarud, number 13, coincidentally joining us in the building, in the hut, in the yurt. I feel like you're in a yurt. This is very Norwegian of you, very Scandinavian of you. That's your car, but you're here.
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on?
Andreas, hey, congratulations! You're in the finals.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the track? It is transforming.
Rough.
Look at that. So meta.
So many.
It's like when you're in the bathroom. There's a mirror on both sides. And you go, woo! Off in the background.
I like that. I'm like, ooh.
Snackaroo, you're here. You're in the finals. How is the track transforming, man? Because it's a very different track from yesterday to today.
I mean, the track is what Nitro Rallycross is all about. It's changing a lot. Definitely changing a lot. Lap times yesterday was like 56. Now we're doing 105. 105. Dude, slow. I mean, it's rough out there. It's hard to predict and to understand where the grip is. Now we have some ice, but the ice with ruts, and then there's water in the ruts, and then there's the slush. So it's very hard to predict. You put the car sideways, it grips in. You're working with it. All of a sudden, you lose the grip.
Yeah. Or it comes.
Or understeer. Or it comes.
Yeah.
And I hit the tire barriers a few times without trying to hit it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's the track is going to tell you where to go, even though you're given that input and you think it's grab and kicks back. Yeah. Let's talk about Sweden, man, because that's where I think you really started. You and Robin have just you guys. This is the full final. Walk us through Sweden, that track?
Sweden and that track is more pavement or tarmac. Fits my style a little bit more from karting background. But yeah, this is the final, the big jump into the hairpin.
The whole race, all 6
Walk
laps.
us through it. This is all 6. You got
so,
some time.
It's so different. Like you see, Oliver Eriksson pushed me a bit wide, but he understood it. He went too far, so he actually let me back in after me going wide in turn 2. That track is so cool. It was brand new on the calendar this year. The first Scandic big jumps, super tall.
You took me for a ride.
Yeah,
we did the gap jump.
Did.
So we were,
you did?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So we were sat down at the start, and he goes, "You want to break the rules?" I was like, "Yeah, of course I do." And it was, I don't know if we're allowed to do the gap jump. And then I think he goes, "I'm sure Travis did the gap jumps, and we're going to do the gap jump."
Yeah.
We just went and did it. And, it was
I think
awesome.
a few of the key kind of elements here is like to get that car straight, and in the braking as well, use like the momentum when you're straight to brake, and then start like slowly to rotate on pavement. But then you need to go aggressive on the dirt. You see here Larson is sideways so much earlier than me, but maybe he loses a bit in the exit.
But is that his style everywhere, or is that just in that one corner? Like when you guys look at the data, and do you get to look at Francis' data as well, or is it just you and Robin?
Yeah, we look on all 3 of us.
So how do your driving styles vary? I'm really interested in that.
Fraser is just like, that's a big jump of Robin. He gets me every time.
Meek had the massive jump here. Do you remember Meek? He had the massive one.
Yeah,
that was
all they hit there was like this curb, the rock on the inside. If you nudged it, you get a puncture. I nudged it. I was lucky to get away with it.
Yeah, driving styles. Go on.
So now you see Robin is getting closer. Next lap he will probably joker. I'm saving my push to pass till Robin's going to the joker, and we have a gentleman agreement that we try to get some gap, some distance here, and then we can fight it out using the joker strategy. So that's also a very nice like teammate playing role.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah.
There's no team. When do team orders start to come play? I think the Glenn Helen, the final round.
Yeah, it depends. Right now I feel like there's so many races to go and so much stuff can happen. But for sure, like Robin is a horse ahead of everyone. So he's done brilliantly, been so stable.
You're being humble, man. So are you. You've really.
Well, I've also wrecked 2 cars.
Oh man,
and I'm still up there, so I've done something right as well. So it's funny that way. It's been a brutal year.
Yeah.
The tracks are so different. When we get to a track, it's changing conditions so much all the time. It's so different from what I'm used to in the past. So it's definitely taken me a long time or not a long time, but it's taken me a hard time to learn and understand and process everything. Because I'm more of an analytic kind of person. I would like the track to be the same all the time and go do my thing, and I can repeat it 99 times of 100. So and that 100 I just fly away.
That's why it's Nitro. It's a steep learning curve. You got to learn quick, and those that adapt are going to succeed. Do you think that's what favors Robin, because he's seen a variety of tracks?
Yeah, and also his driving style is a little bit more aggressive than me. He's a little bit more aggressive on the steering wheel, and it really have been paying off on the likes of the dirt tracks, where I had a massive crash in ERX. It set me back big time for Glen Helen and also Phoenix. It took me a while before I kind of like got the rhythm and the trust in the car.
I remember you said though, didn't you, that you looked at Fraser's data and he went into the corner on the first lap on the next run. You're like, dude, you're crazy. Like, he got straight back into it, and that's just a thing you have to get out of your head. But you just got to go, I've got to build back up to it.
Yeah, and also like not many know, but like even though Fraser's crash looked much more spectacular than mine back in ERX, I had a harder hit. Yeah. So I think it was stuck further in, deeper in my brain, and also I'm a bit older than him. So
it hurts more.
How many years? Come on.
I'm 31, fairly young. I think he is
29. Oh, man.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what did you say? Do you have a sticker on your phone? I think you have a sticker that says, what is it? The saying is, do you. Be you.
Be you.
Be you. That's what he's got. He's got that sticker on the phone. It's all about being you. So you be you, right?
Yeah,
and you do your style. If you're smooth, if you're aggressive, you gotta learn, and you're gonna learn at some point how to adapt to the ice, how to adapt to the tracks. Calgary, it's going to be a little bit colder. We got a doubleheader at Glen Helen. Are you excited to have a doubleheader and end the season there? How did I remind everybody how you did at Glen Helen?
I think Glen Helen is so far like the general Nitro Rallycross kind of track. it is so many overtakings. There's so much stuff.
The opposing hairpins,
it
left
just
into
fits
right.
really well to Rallycross and Nitro Rallycross. So I think that's just like a great place to end it, because like here, you know, even though it's so cool and all that stuff, but the conditions changes. It's like a lottery on the start, you know. Sometimes you nail it, sometimes you don't. At Glen Hell, at least you know kind of your settings, if you're fast or slow on the reaction time and stuff like that. I miss doing donuts.
There it is. Well, you have your blue crew, man, and they cheer for you. BU, man. Hey, well, congratulations, man. We'll see you in the final. Thank you so much to Backaroot Snackaroot. He's going to grab some snacks. Well, are you down there eating some snacks, Katie? What's going on down in the pits?
You know, you gave me a Snickers earlier. I sure wish we were down here with some snacks, but I'm down here with some tires. And you can see right here the difference of some of these studs, right? These studs are what it should be. Right here along there, this one's completely shaved off. So there might already be some issues with grip, with it being some slush out there. And it's a real issue when those studs are come off. All right, let's go find Chris Meek. Come along here. And you can see this is what Chris's car looks like right now. They've been working on this thing from start to finish of this weekend with some gearbox issues. Chris is over here. We're going to just interview a debrief. One of the things we've talked a little bit about here, Chris, is what you may or may not be feeling in the car with a gearbox that might be a little sensitive. How do you push it as a driver?
Yeah, I honestly, since I started in this championship, I've just used my instinct, you know, and I'm maybe too long in the tooth to change my instinct, but I'm so...
You can teach an old dog new tricks, they say.
They say. It's difficult, but I don't know. I'm just trying to short shift to get traction from second to third. We only use 2 gears, but today I've just decided to leave it in third gear all the way around, and maybe there's places I'm losing a little bit, but I've been happy with my speed today. I've been on the pace of Backaroot and Larson. I made a couple of mistakes in that last race, which...
Yeah, you kept up with Larson.
Yeah, so it's been a tricky weekend. Honestly, on these rallycross weekends, you begin to realize you need a clean right from the get-go. As soon as you have any problems at the start, even for time practice, especially on the ice, everything is elaborated on the ice, because if you arrive here in a bad championship position, you get bad ice for your time practice, so then you're starting at the back of the grid from the get-go. So it's tricky, and obviously yesterday we had to change 2 gearboxes, and I can't afford, we don't have any more gearboxes, I can't afford to break another one. So anyway, look, I'm enjoying it, it's good fun, but I think there's a few lessons to be learned. You know, I think the tyres, as spectacular as they look, they're possibly a bit aggressive for the ice, and it's too much grip, so it doesn't allow perfect racing, but honestly, it's enjoyable out there still, and we've still a chance to get to the final.
And that's the way it should be. It should be enjoyable for these guys. Back to you.
Meek, man, he's got definitely a lot to say. We're like, we got to wrap it up. We got to get to racing. Meek and Katie, you're doing a great job. Like, wrap it up, fam. Look at the fans. They are enduring the cold, and they're excited. Look at that, smiles on faces. Got the toques, the beanies, whatever you want to call it.
What do you got? The VIP. Hey! Look at the VIPs indoors, Jared, in the background, with the heating on. You know,
it's stacked. Look at that. You got fans indoors, outdoors.
There they are.
All right, that's awesome, man. Seeing the fans, young and old. Look at it. Eating the snow. Don't eat the yellow snow.
Future rallycross drivers there, man. I love seeing kids at races.
Yeah, no, this is great. This is such a great track. I know you've experienced it here in the summer, not the snow. I think, what do you make of it? You know, seeing the summer, seeing it here.
It's been lovely for me. I came here 5 times in August with the World Championship over the years, and to come back and see it, it was speedboats on the river with people with their shirts off. Woo, drinking beers and stuff. And now, like, there's ice flow in the river. Yeah, there's meters of snow lying about, all pushed up in all the parking lots. To see the main straight, the famous main straight at GP3R, which is actually where it's marked. Is it where it's marked finish? No, this side is where the famous main straight is. Gilles Villeneuve was discovered here. Yeah, Jacques Villeneuve's father. Jacques has raced here, of course, famous Canadian drivers. And then we're in the middle of this horse trotting track. What I'm really loving, Jared, is we've never used the banking here before. We've never driven on ice here before either. And to see the banking, there's Gilles Villeneuve. Look, great. There's a lot of history here. It's a cool place, and the event is very much what this town is about. GP3R is known, you know.
I've always seen it on the internet, and I've seen races here, so So it's really great. The buildings, the backdrops,
cool,
the ice rink, the pool, the bowling alley. There's a baseball field. I mean, it's quite an all-inclusive venue, and the fans just, they want to go Nitro Rallycross, and Nitro Circus, and Nitro, all of it kind of coming here is celebratory.
A lot of these fans will come here for the summer event. It's a real, everybody comes here for that event. We're going to GP3 definitely every year.
Yeah.
They come, they have a few beers. It's a great party town. Funnily enough, my announcing booth, Jared, used to be up on the roof, up there on the left-hand side. Bucky Lassett came up there and did a kickflip on someone's skateboard in front of Nicholas Hamilton, Lewis's brother.
Cool.
It took him about 10 attempts. They're all on my phone, Bucky. He just had a rough time at the X Games. He's going, I was like, what's that one called? He goes, that's because you suck at the X Games. And he got it. He nailed it. He tried so many times on the roof of that building. Bucky Lassett did a kickflip.
Yeah, and Bucky's, he's a vert skateboarder, so he's not really a flatlander, or he doesn't do he's not a street skater. But Bucky is an absolute sweetheart. He's a great friend of mine. I've known him for multiple years, and it's great to. All right, so here we go. We are going for four-wheel drive. Here we go, four-wheel drive rally, and this is our semifinal. Is that what we're looking at here right now? That's right, the rally four-wheel drive semifinal. So Jerome Malloy, and you got Alex Moreau, Joel Malloy, and then David Morissette. And it looks like we are -1 of the vehicles here, only seeing 3 on the semifinal, so we'll see all 4 in the final. Subarus, it's all, the flat 4, the box, the 2.5 turbo engine, the signature sound, here we go.
So Jerome Maillot in the 25 on the outside there is the Canadian Rally champion. Behind him is his dad, and they got into each other in turn 1 yesterday, which was pretty fun. But Jerome Maillot with a great start. Look, he'll take that line up into turn 1. His dad coming through as well. So it's Jerome Maillot from Joel Maillot, and then Alex Moreau dropping back in the background a bit. I think is it Moreau or is it Morissette? One of the cars missing, but whoever it is, they had a roll yesterday. If you remember, a light roll. The car just dug in and went over. We're waiting for the timing screen to light up as they come down over the start-finish line, and it is Moreau who we've got in. Yeah, so Moreau, they're expecting to challenge Maillot this weekend. I went and had a chat with these guys. Of course, again, we've never seen them before, but great to have them here with us.
And like you said, a lot of these guys, these vehicles prepped for stage rally. So coming and racing here, they have a race in just a little bit.
2 weeks' time, yeah.
Jeez.
So 2 weeks' time, a bit further risky. North. They're expecting a similar amount of snow. They do run on studded tyres. These front 2 cars are sequential gearbox, 2.5 litre flat 4, 34mm restrictor if you want to get really techie. So about 300 horsepower. Look at that, Jared. So lap 1, Jerome Maillot has gone joker immediately because he's spotted that he's got enough time to do it. So he's gone and come out. He's now roosting the guy in P2, Moreau, who's still got to do his joker. So great tactics to go on lap 1 and come out still in the lead.
All right, so Jerome Maillot out front, and then you got Joel Maillot, father-son, 1 and 3, and Moreau sitting in second. As we continue on here with our four-wheel drive, we got lap 1.5. You can see just barely wrapping around those orange tires, and Andreas Backrud was talking about it, basically kind of navigating around those, and he did hit those, and those are unforgiving. The tires, they'll move a little bit, but guess what? They're going to move your car, your bumpers, your tires quite a bit, so you want to stay off those, want to avoid hitting any obstacles. Good kick over there, and just cutting through. And we're talking about the tires, and a little bit narrower tires than we see on the actual Group E vehicles. They are running some studs. They might be running some snow tires, but narrower, the donut style, as opposed to kind of a big, it's all about contact patch.
It is, yeah. So by reducing the width of the tire, actually it digs in a bit more. Now, the FC1, obviously being a 1,000 horsepower electric vehicle, is actually a bit heavier and has a hell of a lot of power, which is why we took the decision to make a bespoke tire using a Yokohama carcass and those incredible studs. These ones are more like if you were going to go to a snow rally tomorrow, you go buy them off the shelf.
Right.
It's narrow. It's about half the width of a performance road tire. Looks like a gravel knobbly tire, as we would call it, and then within those knobbles the studs are moulded in. That's different to the side-by-sides where they've actually been screwing studs into a normal UTV tire. So 3 different types of tire out on track here.
You talked about the...
big mistake, Jared. He's made a mistake on turn 1. So Maillot's made a mistake, going to go round, nudges the car up into the bank. This could be an opportunity. Moreau going to come up the inside line. So the Canadian Rally champion has made a mistake, or maybe had the car brake in turn 1. The white flag is out for Moreau. Is Maillot going to get going again?
Mind you, this is the semi-final.
Yeah, they'll go through. They all go through to the final. It's going to be back row.
Yeah, he'll be back row. That front right, there might be some issues just outside of the snow.
You can can see there the damage on Moreau's car from yesterday's rollover. It was only a light roll. Car just dug in and went over. Understeering like mad there, Jared, in the hairpin to try not getting enough rotation on the car on the way and just need to give it a big old flick. Wow, this is some turnaround, isn't it?
All right, so we're seeing Moreau here coming on and bringing on in the white flag. So Moreau got a bit of a good luck, a lucky break for him. As unfortunately, Jerome Mayo goes to the back. Joel Mayo sitting in second. Now continuing on through the course and one more turn. Just a smash with the FPV. Look at that, right up close and personal. Love that. I mean, that's the classic WRC wing, that World Rally Championship wing off the back end of that Subaru. Always a soft spot for Subarus. I had one back in the day, a 03 WRX wagon. I wish I still had it. Always just a great classic car. You talk about Bucky there, Coley, and Bucky's definitely a Subaru nut. I mean, he was a big Volkswagen guy back in the day when I first met him. He's big. He had a Corrado, and then I think one of the first Subarus he ever drove was actually my wagon back in the day. And we used to hang out back when I lived in San Diego. This is early 2000s when I got that car. So the Frozen Tundra here at Trois Rivières, and a bunch of Canadians here in the mix. A rally four-wheel drive, Alex Moreau, Joel Mayo, and Jerome Mayo. And Alex got a lucky break as Jerome had a mistake. We'll see if it was mechanical or just driver error. Regardless, all these drivers will be in the final. It's just about position on the grid. Let's take a look where it went wrong for the father and son, and there it is. So you see him just lose it. It looks like he was going towards the tires, corrected, and then it just snapped back towards the wall, and both Moreau and the father got a pass.
Yeah, that's what made me wonder if it was a tech, Jared, but no, I think not. Two sideways in the corner, and backwards said, didn't he, about how the grip coming up and down the whole time. Martel's car there on charge. That's what the big cable is heading into the side of the vehicle. The blue ones are for cooling, so they can cool the battery when it's on charge. That sounds mad, doesn't it, really? But it's all about battery temperature and making sure that everything performs how you want it to. Studded tyres on Bennett. We saw Chris Meek had lost a couple of those studded tyres. Well, not the tyres, a couple of the studs that actually snapped off. So they don't pull out like the side-by-side ones have been pulling out of the rubber. These ones are bolted in from the back and they're shearing off the front.
They got washers. So, you see all that.
Yeah, you can't
a lot of work.
Those. Yeah.
And you talked about this yesterday, and I want to get into it when the Group E vehicles are running.
Yeah.
Rotating mass, production, what's going on, tire attrition. We'll get into that when we go Group E.
Let's go
let's get techie.
Put on your glasses, kids. Here we go. We're about to learn some knowledge. You want to know about tires? Here's Andrew Cole. He's going to tell you more.
Here he is.
All right, side by side, LCQ. Who's going to the finals? We started with 9, and now here we are, LCQ. Who's advancing on? Again, you can see a lot more vehicles there on that grid, but here we are showing up. Yeah, we're going to show up. Whoever's going to show up is going to show up, and they're about to show up now. So the LCQ here at Trois Rivières.
716 on the outside, Jared. We're frantically looking for the lovely piece of paper which would tell us who's actually made it through. Here we are. I think we'll take this. Oh, he found it. We found it. Okay.
Joey Morrison. I've seen Joey Morrison at 718.
So Joey's
and then Tufo. You got that of Jonathan Tufo, the 84 on the front row. Here we go. NITRO. Let's go.
Let's go.
And send it, baby.
Morrison with a bit of wheel spin on the outside line, going to lose out immediately. His car is almost completely box stock. He's got like an air intake. He's got a different map on the car, different exhaust. Gone up by about 50 horsepower with some pretty simple modifications. But he only got that vehicle literally this year. He works in the snowmobile industry, had some contacts, decided to buy one, and has ended up racing it. So he raced here in the summer on a mixture of dirt and tar. He's now here racing for the first time on snow and ice and on studded tyres. It's Tifo, though, who leads. Pete P2 for Tardif, and Morrison has dropped to P3. So you would expect that pretty standard. Totally
and Tifo is the gentleman that I've announced his name in Canadian drifting championships. So Tifo has been around the block, and he's raced many different disciplines. So it's cool to see him out here being part of history. Nitro Rallycross, Trois Rivières in the snow. Look at that, and he gets challenged, but no, Tifo shuts the door on him.
That snowbank's starting to get eaten away, Jared, on the right-hander after the Joker. So where people are flicking in a bit early, it's one of the only corners, along with this double left-hander, which I think is turn 8, where they don't have the bollards on the inside, the cones and the markers. So they have actually put some up here, look, in the final corner, just to keep them away from the bank. But it's just starting to eat away at the bank in that corner after the Joker lap. It's pretty narrow there as well, so I don't think they'd be able to put anything in there to keep them off the apex.
That course is getting more and more chopped up. You could just see how it's kind of like you got the street. We started with about 20 inches of ice. When we all showed up here Thursday night, we saw Kevin Erickson, who, again, he's on pole right now. Kevin Erickson, he turned on, as I like what Travis says, turns on the chainsaws, it dug in. So it's slowly being compromised, but everybody's on the same course. So that's the thing, is like, you know, you deal with what you're dealt. The variable, you know, okay, they're on the same tires. Let's talk about Group B specifically.
Yeah.
You're on the same tires, you're on the same vehicle, obviously given your parameters, but Mother Nature, that's the variable you can't obviously control. The track, it's modifying, but everybody's on that same course. So spotter is crucial, awareness is key, and how you deal with that. And many different, you know, kind of strategies are coming into play, even with side-by-sides.
Yeah. Look, you've got to win the start. That's the main strategy for me. Win the start if you possibly can. So you want to you got to try and get that done, and then that gives you your best chance because of the roost, because it's so hard to pass on this circuit. It is narrow, or it wasn't as narrow until they put the tyres in place, but now the tyres are in place, it is a little bit more tricky to make a pass. Here is Tifo coming around. Everybody's jokered on that 2 out of 3. Gosselin has just gone in this last one. 19.9 seconds back from the leaders, or overall from the lead. 22.2 back now after the Joker. That goes with roughly what we've been saying, which is just around a 3-second delta for it. That crowd in the background, good on them. Yeah, we're saying it's a little bit warm for the ice. It is, because to maintain an ice circuit, you want minus 15 Celsius. Now, I don't even know what that is in Fahrenheit, but I'm guessing 0. And I'm told by Americans that anything under 30 is cold. So
well, freezing is 32.
Yeah, there you go. Right. So 0 is like minus 20 probably Celsius. Right. And that then means you can pour water onto the ice track, and the ice just continues to build. Still a cold hit. It's like minus 3, minus 4 Celsius, which is 20s. Low 30s. It would 20s. Yeah, 20s in Fahrenheit.
Not as cold as our audio guy's hands. They're frozen cold. Yeah. He's like a White Walker over here.
Jared's having his earpiece fitted. Yeah, he's got hands all over the place. But Tifo with a great drive out front. Talking to some of the guys this morning, a lot of these cars are running things like modified wishbones for extra strength. They've got different dampers on them, which means there's more adjustability. They've got dual spring rates, dual damping rates, high speed, low speed. They're pretty tech pieces of kit, but even a really high spec one of these is pretty reasonable in terms of cost. There's the number 18, which we saw yesterday. It's Gosselin, who was struggling for grip, but having spoken to some of the front runners and hearing that, there we go, Tifo, look, big old drift style over the finish line there. So the front runners saying they're losing studs. I think that could be a lot to do with Gosselin's grip issues. Are those studs exiting the tyres?
Well, the studs are not exiting. We're still here in the tent.
Oh, there you go, Jared. Sorry.
Come on.
King of the dad jokes.
Yep. Yeah, where's my crown? Well, again, the 18 Gosselin, he gets a little bit loose there. He's got to finish it up. He's going to bring it on in. This is the LCQ.
No traction, Jared. Just got no traction. Yeah. You see him from how slowly. I mean, the front drive shafts. Yeah, they're just getting loads of wheel spin.
It's a totally different animal, totally different beast.
That's it. Go on, lad. That's a show for the crowd. He knows not going to take the win, but comes around almost on the lock stops.
He's winning. He's having fun. Again, just you were talking about one of the racers saying, all right, it's not mine, but I've never done it, but why not? I got the machine, I got the weapon. Let's go for it. And there are the results for our side-by-side LCQ. Tifo gets the win. Tardif, Morrison, and Gosselin coming on in. There is our side-by-side LCQ. Next stop for side-by-sides, the finals.
I'm starting to wish I'd put the foot warmers in, Jared.
Your toesies, coldsies?
Yeah, man.
Oh, poor B.
It was good. You know, I was good at the start of the show.
It's coldy.
Daytime. It's not too
Coldy.
cold, but now the hand warmers are good for the toes, and I will bite in the end. The foot warmers are missing. There we go. Great drive by Tifo. No one got anywhere near. Absolutely dominant, and we'll hopefully see a few more cars head out for the final.
Well, here in the Excite tent, this is the only actually pit that has both cars leaving for the LCQ. As you can see, Chris Meek and Oliver Bennett getting ready to get out and race. Now, I talked to Oliver Bennett about what this LCQ means. He said, you know what? It's one of those things that's really difficult because if, by the way, there's a car coming through right behind you. If we, and you can't hear these cars, so that adds to it. If we go out and we win, we go to the back row of the final, that's going to be tough as it is. And one of the issues is the visibility. So it's not saying that the day is done if Oliver Bennett continues to the final, but his hopes are a little bit dim in that regard. Meanwhile, Chris Meek, I asked him, is there still a chance if you make it to the final? He says, heck yes. He said, in Phoenix, I went from seventh to third and made it happen. Now it's a little bit different here in the snow and the ice, but it's still a possibility. I'm not going to lose hope that it can't be done. Meanwhile, we saw Conor Martel take a little bit of a trip on out of the pits, and of course, he's getting ready for the LCQ. One thing he said that's extremely tough about it is he's going up against two teammates. What does that mean for him? Well, strategy-wise, it can really mix some things up and they can play against him. He said the biggest issue with this is the fact that the ruts out there are what you actually want to hit. The problem is there's slush in the ruts. But if you don't hit the ruts, then you really lose your rhythm, and then it's going to be a big challenge. And this guy here, Andreas Backrud, doesn't quite know that I'm coming up to him, but quickly for you, this is one of those events that you do have a smile. You had a good run yesterday. You were telling us in the booth, you got to have the mojo, really, to make this thing come together. How's the mojo?
The mojo. I was actually going over there to Travis because I have a million from Backward French fans coming over asking me, hey, can we take a picture together, me, you, and Travis? So I was like going over there, and then I run into you. But that's great. No, feeling is good. It's tough out there. You need to draw the right lottery to get the correct start. You need some luck on your side. It's going to be a hard final.
Absolutely. Thank you, Andreas, guys.
Joker lap. Can Travis Pastrana advance on to the final? We'll find out. Here comes Kevin Eriksson.
The Yokohama Joker Lap is a different distance than your standard Nitro Rallycross track length. This allows strategy to come in. Whether the Joker's faster or slower, you can play it to your advantages. You can use it as offense, you can use it as defense, and you can use it to get some free track if you want to go fast.
Bennett on the inside line.
New to the broadcast this year is the Yokohama Joker Predictor Graphic. This is going to give you a little more insight on who's going to come out of the Joker ahead. The Joker Lap is always a little bit longer than the standard Nitro Rallycross track, and the rule is you have to take it once in every race. Now, if you have two drivers battling for the lead, a lot of times the driver in front can block. When he takes the Yokohama Joker Lap, it frees up the course for both drivers to drive absolutely flat out, trying to make that couple tenths it's going to take to get in front, potentially win the race.
Oh, spin! Hold on to it, Brad! Light it up!
Well, here we are. We're in the pits, man, leaving the yurt, and guess what? This is a gentleman we haven't spoken to. He had his ear pods in. He's on the phone. Were you watching your favorite TV show, or are you studying the tapes?
Yeah, favorite TV show. Yeah.
What's your favorite TV show? Go.
Ooh,
Family Guy.
The Office.
You would love The Office.
The US Office or the UK Office?
US.
That's right. Yeah. Team America. Team America. Well, I wouldn't say, never mind. You're on the front row, you and your brother. I say you wear your heart on your sleeve, man. I think you know, knee-jerk reaction. Travis lovingly said the chainsaws got into the side of him. That's what he's calling these tires. And he really had nowhere to go. You had nowhere to go. But the track is transforming. That's Mother Nature. That's the variable that everybody's having to deal with. But, I mean, what do you think, man?
Yeah, it's tough. You know, it's quite hot today. Outside, I think we're like around 0 degrees only. So, yeah, that has softened the ice up a lot. So you see it's a bit slushy out there. But, yeah, it was a fortunate turn of events with Travis there. He went a bit wide. I stood on the brakes, but he had the snowbank to brake him as well. I nudged him a bit. But, yeah, it was kind of lucky for me as well that the mistake came there for him. So I went through.
Got anything, Colin?
Yeah, I'm looking for Kevin, but I can't find
Kevin?
him. So we're gonna
where's your brother at?
And see if we can see him.
In the trailer? Does he just want to focus on racing right now?
Right, no, we're going to come over here. We'll come over here. We'll come over here.
Little daughter or something. I don't know.
You're watching The Office, and you're hanging out here.
Jared's still chatting.
Who's your biggest competition?
Oh, Travis has been... when he's not in the snowbank, he's been super good. You know, the start he did now in the heat when he passed us in the front row, I did not expect that. So for sure, maybe it was good that it happened in the heat. Now we're ready for it in the final.
Get it, buddy. Get out there. Let's go catch up with Coley. Thank you so much, Ollie. Go back to watching The Office. Coley, what do you got over there?
This way, Rob. Come on over here. So, yeah, I left. Jared was still chatting.
No, you're fine.
Good. We're looking down here at the chainsaws, which Travis was talking about earlier on. These are the tools that we don't normally see in the paddock.
Here's a shovel. Can you dig it?
Snow off. You know, you got to get all the stuff out of here. But come on in here as well. We've got some parts in here. Is this the parts department? Are they round there? Oh, okay.
Hey, Coley,
I'm going in. We're going in.
Hey,
we're going in.
While we're talking about the tires, let's talk about the tires. The rotating mass, the Yokohama tires, the carcasses. How much do they weigh per corner?
So they're 5 kilos or 11 pounds heavier than the standard tire because of the amount of metal that's in it. Look at these guys here. Look, they're being all secretive. Jared, he's got your coat on the right there.
No, you're not.
They're looking
nice jacket, bro. Nice jacket. Don't look at the data.
Stuff.
You're not supposed to show the data, man.
What's this? So we're looking.
We got nuts right here. His name's Andrew Coley.
Look at all this stuff. Oh, there's nothing in there.
We got some computers.
So this is where they come. We want to find all the bits.
We're just breaking into the parts department right now.
There's some seats in here and stuff. Yeah, just have a look in the background, but there's a lot going on in here. Everybody's in this one tent. The spares are here. Hopefully not going to need too many of those before we get to the finals.
Fraser McConnell here. You know, we were just talking about the vibe is a little different with you. Last night he got out of the car with the TQ singing a bobsled song, but today the energy is a little bit different. How would you define it?
No, it's been a frustrating day so far. You know, the track has changed, unimaginably amount. So we're going out there and everyone is learning the track. Each lap is completely different. There's water settling in some places, gravel coming up in some, and some people are getting ruts, and it's helping the car. So it's kind of crazy out there. So it's going to be fighting to get the car home in one piece, but also try and be fast at the same time.
What's going to be the absolute biggest challenge? We've talked about ruts, we've talked about slush, we've talked about snow dust.
The start is going to be one of the deciding factors for the race for sure, and we're going to be third row in the final, so that's more unused ice, so we should have some luck there, but we're gonna go for it.
As it relates to the tires and the fact that these studs, some of them are getting shaved down, as a driver, can you feel when it starts to get to that point where they don't have that grip, or is it just slush based?
Right now it's just, if you're on ice it's good, but if you're in slush it's just no grip at all. So we'll be going on the straight and then all of a sudden it's spinning tires like crazy. So have to be sharp with the hands and make sure that we're keeping the car in one piece. Sharp
with the hands, this is a new thing for you. Quickly, you tested for the first time on ice ever in Finland just a week ago. How comfortable now do you feel?
It's not so bad. The heater is working good inside the tent, so I'm very comfortable in here. And the driving, I don't think anyone's used to this, so everyone's in the same boat.
That's pretty positive, I guess, in that regard. And something else that Fraz has been telling me is that he likes to trust his instincts. Oh, you know what? He mentioned that his posters, that's one thing here in the pits you can come do. Check out all these posters.
A-Shock, a modern performance energy drink created for today's active generation. Yokohama Tire, make every drive a performance. My Energy, driving the charge to a sustainable future. You can see the fans coming out in droves. This is awesome, man. Just, you know, coming up, showing up, seeing this course, knowing the history of Trois Rivières and what's going on. I'm Jared Dienda. Beside me, Andrew Coley, the voice of Rallycross. A-Shock Energy, Nitro Rallycross, road to the finish line. As you can see, the Ericsson bros on that front row. Olsbergs, second row. Travis Pastrana and Andreas Backerud. TP with the KB Forever livery. Backerud and the DRR JC vehicle. On that back left corner, you can see Robin Larson. Fraser McConnell, our TQ. We'll see how he gets it done from row 3.
Right, so this is it then. Only one person's not going to make it. There's going to be somebody disappointed. Yeesh. Chris Meek there on board.
Looking like Hoth, more Car Wars than Star Wars.
Yeah.
And you could see 3 vehicles, both of the Excite Energy guys. You got Ollie Bennett, Chris Meek, and notably Connor Martell. So Connor Martell, he's kind of having a bit of bad luck. Still a smile on his face. I saw him talking to Katie. Still thumbs up. He's having a tough go.
None of them want to be in this. You know, it's quite simple. You wanted to make the final earlier. We're talking about Connor Martell, who's podium last time, I think, in Phoenix. So was Chris Meek in one of the 2 Phoenix races. Martell got there, didn't he, from the LCQ. Meek got his first ever podium. Bennett was right in the battles, in the mix, in the final of that. So, you know, Travis says it quite a lot. We always refer to Travis because he spends so much time with us. Either win or lose, yeah, he comes and gives us some brilliant insight. And what he says all the while is it is so close. And that's the thing. The difference between them being in or not being in was what Chris Meek was saying earlier on. For a Rallycross weekend, it has to go well right from the start. You got to lay the foundations with the good lap times, you know, with the time practice, so you get a good draw and make a decent result, and the battles get towards the front of the grid. They're right at the back. One last chance.
This is it, hence the LCQ, last chance qualifier. One of these drivers will be watching from the paddock. So as the windshield wipers are on, they're about to get blasted a lot more snow. 30 seconds to go for start. Connor Martell, Chris Meek, Ollie Bennett. You can see pole position for Meek. Is that the best position? That's TBD in the LCQ. 3 drivers, 2 will move on, 1 will be watching from the paddock.
So it's Meek versus Martell on the front row, but don't forget that we've seen plenty of drivers get it done from row 2 today. I really honestly don't think you can say that one side of the grid is better than the other. The drivers are even saying they can't quite figure out which of the settings is going to work. There's certainly going to be some people poring over the data before we head up to Calgary to see if they can nail what it is that gets you the perfect start. Who's going to get it this time? Martell just rolls into the start beautifully there, but then gets loads of wheel spin as he comes up. Bennett going to come from the back row in between, alongside his teammate. Oh, Meek into the side of Bennett. Bennett in the wall. Meek in the wall. Oh, first of all, Meek and Bennett came together in the inside line. Martell's gone round as well. All 3 cars up in turn 1. I tell you what, we might end up with 7 cars in the final.
Exactly. You took the words and the thoughts out of my mind and out of my mouth. Connor Martell continues on. It's not the best of luck for the Excite boys. Meek, it looks like he got kicked around. You can see them on the bank. We are riding shotgun with Ollie Bennett, or we are stuck on the bank. But these aren't the kind of banks you cash checks at. The red flag is out. That will be a restart for the entirety of this trio.
Carnage.
That was
carnage. 3 cars. You don't expect carnage with 3 cars. You spoke actually, Jared, when we were in there, you mentioned about the momentum in the wheels. So they're 5 kilos, 11 pounds heavier, depending on which currency you're talking in. But they've come together there side by side. Potentially they've had contact between the wheels. We'll have a look at some replays in a minute. There are bits of those cars everywhere. Bennett is well in the bank on the right-hand side of your screen. And
the question is, who's able to run now at this point?
Well, if you can get somebody to the start, in theory, they might well make it to the final. But oh dear.
Also,
a lot of it's only body work.
I'll be quite honest. I'm surprised this is the first kind of crash of this magnitude to this point. Given the course conditions, what's going on, and with the course telling you, oh, you want to drive that way? That's cute. You're going this way.
We were out this morning, Jared, if you remember, and we said that with the bales there, they're closer to that top piece of banking. So that's Meek into, I'm afraid that's Meek into Bennett, and then I wonder if Meek's steering is broken. Watching here, so Meek's on the inside there, and he hits the back of Martell. Meek
came in hot, man. Meek was rolling. Wow.
It's a big off.
Well, we got to clean up on aisle 1, and we got a couple of Excite cans that have been exploded. Wow, so unfortunate turn of events for the Excite Energy boys, living up to their sponsor. It was exciting with Chris Meek, and you saw it was an Ollie Bennett sandwich, and then Meek just came in hot, tried to fight back like David Horowitz, and then just went up into the bank. So some tough goes there for the Excite guys. It's a red flag, so they will restart. But now, again, like I said, the question is, are their cars able to run? Join us here in the booth is Travis Pastrana.
Will they be allowed to run as well?
Will they be allowed
I'm going to get in touch with Race Control and find out whether or not it might be a case of who is deemed to have caused the incident won't be allowed to, or potentially if these cars are both a DNF, at the point of the red flag, maybe they neither will be allowed to run. We'll see.
This is going to be a really interesting conversation when they get back to their sponsor.
I know. Also, Travis, I'm surprised that before you walked in, I had the conversation on air saying, I'm surprised this is the largest crash of magnitude that we've seen so far. The course is, you might turn that way, but the course says, no, you're going to go this way.
It's very difficult.
Bennett's away. So that's the context under review. Sorry to interrupt, but Bennett's got all 4 wheels on the car. The car's moving away. Pulled him out the bank. Doesn't look too bad, does it, on the front there? A lot of snow in the wheel.
These cars are very, very durable, but those banks are pretty solid ice. It looks like snow, but it takes a pretty big impact to get through there. Obviously, you see Chris Meek's car right there.
Yep. So Travis, join us here in the booth. I don't know. We've kind of cut through all of it. The side-by-sides have been exciting. I love the variety of it. Previous rounds of competition, it's strictly Can-Am. But the cars, here are the Erickson brothers. They're on the front row.
Yeah,
your second row. Hey, Fraser McConnell, he's on third row. That's going to be a lot of just snow machines blasting you in the face. Is there any shot of getting from third row up to the front, man?
There's a good chance that you could start in the back row and you could make the podium here tonight. It's so easy to make mistakes, and it's so easy for even if you're trying to block the line, like I was doing earlier. Like, I'll just control it from the front. No, anyone can hit you with their chainsaw and take this out. And I think that's why you haven't seen a lot of this. You haven't seen a lot of the carnage because all the drivers are like, look, we got to get to the final. We got to get our cars there. This, obviously, the LCQ, if they don't get through, they're out anyway. So I think that's why you're seeing this. The final is going to be, I think, a little bit more carnage. You're seeing everyone kind of taking it a little bit easy if
Meek's
they can.
Not going to restart, Travis. We've just been told by Race Control Meek will not restart. So effectively that puts Bennett and Martel through. So your teammates in, not the way you would have wanted to do it, but that's what's going to happen. So either Meek has been determined to have caused the red flag, in which case he won't be allowed to restart, or potentially he's just told the marshals, you know what, it's not going any further.
No, it's so tough because there's 9 drivers here.
Yeah.
But each driver has a chance to win.
Yep.
Looking at Chris Meek, I would have picked him as the favorite after watching the first practice.
Oh,
he sent it in. Typical rally driver. He just backed it in. It was awesome. And same with Fraz. Fraz, he's been, he was the fastest yesterday. He won everything yesterday, and then now he started on the third row today. I actually have yet to not be in first going around the first turn. I've been last a lot, but I have not been anything but first or last this weekend. So true Ken Block fashion. So I haven't been behind anyone. I don't know what it's like, but from what everyone says, it's absolutely horrible. Kind of like a mud race. It's going to be. But Larson didn't let off the gas. You saw him on the outside. I forget who was behind Oliver or something yesterday.
We'll let you think about our thoughts. Katie's with Ollie Erickson. What's Ollie got inside? Oh, down to Chris.
Yeah, following Chris Meek off the track here. Now, one would say quite disappointed. What's your point of view at this?
I don't actually know. I need to see a replay. I didn't get the best of starts.
Yeah.
And that final turn where we take the final turn back onto the track, so we pass over that on the start, and it was all fluffy, and I lost a bit of traction after about 50 metres. Connor got up alongside me, got in front, Ollie came up, but then it just, Martel turned in, I touched him, Ollie was there, I had nowhere to go, and it was carnage. So yeah, that's my weekend over. So
are you feeling okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm completely fine, but just a bit gutted. That's not what I wanted, but okay.
All right, it's time for you, I think, to go to the commentary box, if that's okay. You can watch all the replays you want all day long.
I think it's time to go to the bar. Jeez.
Exactly.
Yes. We'll get you a beer in here, mate. We'll arrange that.
And also, coincidentally, Glen Helen finals, St. Patty's Day. We're going to be partying in Glen Helen. A champion will be crowned at St. Patty's Day, right?
So good. I love that.
Here, let's take a look at the replay. What are your thoughts, Travis? Walk us through it. You see, again, it was a Bennett sandwich. Meek goes in the back of Martel.
Yeah, so Meek was back further than he thought. He thought Martel turned into him. It's so different what you see in the car compared to what you see. Bennett didn't see Meek. Connor had nothing to do with it. He thought he was clear. His spotter's probably unclear.
I don't know that Chris can see Connor come down from high because Bennett's, you know what I mean? Like you're saying.
No, but Connor was cleared of both of them.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think he's seen him coming. So can we see it again, guys? Can we see the start again?
So this is what's interesting. If you
watch where Chris is. Maybe.
But you see, Chris actually kind of when he hit the brakes, it went right. That wasn't really his doing, but he just kind of bounced into everything.
Straight, it's just gone on.
His view is different than Connor's view is different. If you're out there, everyone thinks they're in the right, and no one's really in the wrong. It's just a racing incident. Unfortunately, with the snow, it's very difficult.
No, it's 3 into 1. The turn 1's always tricky, isn't it? But particularly,
and now it's half width.
Well, Andreas was in here earlier on with us saying that the conditions in each corner, you turn it in, you think you got the rotation right, and either the car bites harder than you thought or less than you thought. You get more or less on board with Meek. Look, there's the contact's hot. Oh, look at that. That's a point to pause at. Here we go. Look at this. Boom, there's the first hit. That sends Bennett off up into the bank, and now Meek is completely blind.
There was just a combination of things. Meek came in.
A perfect storm.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of snow. That's a heavy old hit for Chris.
Yeah, what you don't realize is every time you bump into another car, you lose. So here you go. Bennett gets a great jump. He's up there. He's trying to get in the middle. He gets a little bump here. Sends him straight.
Bennett was not in Meek's peripheral. He was just yes.
You can't see anything out of these cars. So that's what you got to rely on your spotters, and everyone's kind of trying to push a little bit. And Meek was just expecting them to go in harder. Connor was clear, so his job was to block the inside. But we found out earlier, like if you're not going for the win, if you're out front and you try to block, it doesn't work here because the guys behind you, A, can't stop on ice, and B, if they do hit you, your tires are shredded.
Here is from Martel's point of view. So Martel's got a good start. He's up high now.
He can't see anything behind him. He's like, I got it.
The door, and they're into him. He had a good crack at trying to hold on to it as well. He was in the throttle for a long time trying to pull that back straight. Good on him.
And mind you, he's going 130 miles per hour. Right? Or is that K's?
Yeah, 130
and the other straight. So that's K. Yeah. But it's still fast enough, Jared, isn't it? You don't want to get chucked into the wall there. Well, Meek's car going back to the paddock, and that won't be going any further, unfortunately. So we know who the finalists are, don't we? We just don't know which side of the grid they're going to be sitting, and we're going to run an LCQ for them anyway. So it's a shame for Meek.
Robin Larson over here rewatching that replay. From your point of view, if you were in the car, whichever, you can pick, who would you have rather have been in that scenario?
In the LCQ? Martel, I think. I don't know if they kept going or did they stall. Yeah. I hope that doesn't happen in the final, but we are more cars in the final, so it's going to be interesting for sure. But I heard they're taking away all the tires now on the inside of the track, so open up the track a little bit more for the opportunity to pass. So I think that's good, especially for us in the back of the pack. So it's not the best scenario, but we're still in the final and everything can happen. So
yeah, being in the final is what counts. Earlier today in that semifinal, you had given me a -2 out of 10 as to how that went down. Have you changed that -2 into maybe something else in the mid-range?
I mean, the only positive thing is that the grip level is probably higher in the back of the pack, but you need to pass the guys in front of you. So just try to keep it cool and do a good start, and then we'll take it from there. But it's really hard out there. But if they open up the track a little bit more, then and it's the final race of the weekend, so we all know what happens in Nitro when it's in the final race of the weekend.
Yeah, anything can really happen. Lastly, you had told me yesterday that the championship chase kind of started around round 3.
Yeah.
How much is that playing in your mind now?
Yeah, I mean, we have the OMSE guys in the front row, then we have Travis and Backroad, so Backroad and Fraz is the guys that chasing me. Travis also there, Oliver also, but really close, this my teammates, so just gonna focus on doing what I can and don't do any mistakes, punctures or anything, so I want to finish and hopefully on the podium.
Finish on the podium, do what he can, Robin Larson.
So Larson mentioning there that they're looking at taking away some of the tyre bales for the final, which will open up the width of the track and give us a bit more passing. Travis, I'd love to see that. I know you said you kind of heard they were discussing it. We're not sure how confirmed that is, but what's your thoughts?
There's been a lot of unknowns coming into here. So we have basically, if we opened it up earlier and we got down to the dirt, are the suds going to come out of the tires? Like, how long is that going to last? Let's do the best that we can to get to the final. We even cut a couple laps just to make sure, as it's been a little warmer than people were expecting up here.
Warmer, yeah.
When they say where the tires are, there's actually kind of melting under the tires. So that's the only reason they wouldn't move the tires from the main event. That's what the goal was to do. But again, you don't want ice holes or pockets or anything that's going to hurt the cars more than we're going to hurt them with ourselves.
We're taking a look here. This is Semi 1 when you were here. This is when you got that great start. Walk us through what's going through your mind.
First row, second row. I've got the whole shot every single race we've done. I just
humble brag.
I'm just saying, these cars are amazing. But no, it's really interesting because they can't see anything behind you. I mean, you see, look at that. If you get a little bit outside the line, the car just pulls out. So if you break outside the line, you turn the way that whatever is gripping it, yanks you in. So right here, it's interesting because you want to block that line, but also if anyone comes in too hot, your rally's done too. So it's a really fine line. Meek was definitely quicker than I was here, but it's hard because you go out front and you say, okay, I'm going to run a conservative line because it's so easy to make a mistake. But then you can gain so much time. Like, this is probably 2 seconds a lap slower than it possibly could have been. And then you see Larson, trying to charge and overshoots it, and he loses 2 seconds. So this is a track that it's going to be who can minimize the mistakes, who can get out front. And if you're out front, it's not just being out front by a car length, it's by 2-3 car lengths, or the chainsaws are coming.
We had a great conversation at lunch, and you talked about Scott Speed being in your ear previously. I believe it was ERX in Minnesota, and you said, all right, I'm not going to do this. And he said, what to you? Your conversation with Scott?
We had a rough weekend going, and Scott goes, I'm getting talking in my ear. I can't do this.
Basically, he said, don't focus on what you can't do, focus on what you can do. All right, so what did Scott say to you?
So it was really funny. I was saying, Scott, okay, I'm not going to mess up and we're going to win. He goes, okay, you can't control if you're going to win. There's a lot of other great drivers out there. What you should, and you don't focus on what you're not going to do. He goes, how about this? You work on getting the best start you can and figure it out from there. I thought, okay, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
There's a good methodology there.
And you always talk about that. You always talk about, Travis, you and Connor have such similar drivers. Here we go.
Let's go racing. I mean, this is going to be the hardest start to call. I'm not going to lie.
Bennett starting from the very bottom going up the hill. That was an interesting start for him. Definitely gave Connor a really good jump.
Travis, what's interesting about this for me is we're not even thinking about inside or outside, because these guys are going to end up in a row on the grid, but it's going to depend which side the pole man goes. If the pole man goes high, 3, 7 and 9 on the grid behind go the same side as them. So they don't even know what result this is going to get them.
We saw Kevin, exactly. We have no idea. There's no strategy.
Just finish the race, boys, and see what happens.
Oliver, big slide. Must be getting slick into there. On a positive note for these boys, they're going to know exactly what the track's like. They're going to have the latest. They're going to be warm. They're going to be ready. They're going to be fired up when everyone else is kind of coming in the first turn unknowing.
Travis, so I want to talk to you about a couple of things you said. So earlier on you said you haven't been anywhere except in front. You haven't had to follow anyone. And then you kind of said, you know what, I think you could get there from the back row. But then also now you said, you know what, the visibility isn't so good. Now I think from row 3 with 4 cars in front, unless there's carnage in turn 1, I reckon it's going to be one of the front 2 rows. Well, what do you really think?
Front 2 rows, and it's going to be getting through that first turn. It's difficult to pass, but it's easy to make mistakes. So it's those first 2 or 3 drivers and how aggressively they're driving. Now here's what's interesting: the guys from the third and fourth row, they're going to go like hell. So the second row is going to have people just blowing them over, and they're going to be trying to make sure they're not getting run over. So if you're blocking up front, you're not going to finish. Strictly because the guys behind you are all going to be going so hard and pushing and they got chainsaws on.
So the front row guys then have got to commit in turn 1, haven't they? They've got to commit.
But look how slick this is. And this 180 is going to be very, very difficult. And when you get the slush, it's slick. But then you hit the dirt and you take off. But if you hit the dirt with too much wheel spin, you'll rip your studs out. So there's so many variables. And the ruts, if you look at 2 corners, the corner after the jump, even that corner right there with the Joker on the inside, but this corner right after the jump, the ruts are so deep. If you come in too hot at all, like you'll watch this, when he gets his front tires right here, it's going to hook. Like it's just so easy to, it either hooks or it goes straight. And if you go to the outside, it doesn't turn at all.
And just to clarify, the dark spots, because I haven't been out on the course in this condition, the dark spots, the pooling, is that dirt or is that asphalt?
No, dark spots are dirt, but sometimes the dirt is mud and it doesn't do anything, and sometimes the dirt is frozen. Frozen dirt, these bikes dig into, and you have the most traction ever. So you might see dark and be like, "Oh, I got it," and then it's mud, and you just go straight to the outside.
Until you snap all the studs off, and then you have none again.
And I like what you said. These guys are getting the most truest form of what we're going to see in the finals. Now take away the tires, nobody's seen that.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, it's going to be a little different for the final. Now, hopefully, Connor keeps the studs on the tires. As you see, he got really good traction coming out of there, but it also risks pulling those out. They're not going to have time to really change that before the final. But Connor just driving a perfect race.
Yeah.
And you saw him. He went from the LCQ all the way to second. Race 2 rounds ago.
Point.
So I think there's going. If the front guys, the second and third row, if we're all charging like we probably will, there's going to be carnage, and Connor has a very good chance with his knowledge right here, knowing where the dirt's good, where it's bad. He's got a chance to get up there on the podium.
You're going to maintain that record of going from what was it you said? You've been leading in the turn 1 every time. It's row 2. You can go for
I jinxed myself for sure.
You got the great Ericsson wall, the great wall of Ericsson up front. The Swedish.
Did you see Kevin? It was full like match set, perfect staggered tires, cold trickle, just right around the outside. Like
fast.
Larson, but Larson did not break too early. It was just a
checker
Ericsson
flag
going. Yeah.
So Connor gets a checkered. Both these guys are in. It's just all about position, where they're at. I mean, the grid has never been more wonky, right? You're going to get cars over here, cars over there. You talk about Ollie starting low. Cars are going to be high.
Yeah, but if you look at Meek, like he thought they were going to break a little bit later. He got on the brakes. One side broke harder than the other side. He went into his teammate, bounced him out, and then couldn't stop because he hit his teammate and went into the car in front of him. Like, everyone's just going to have to drive smart, and that doesn't happen often.
The frozen tundra here proves to be beneficial for Connor Martell and Ollie Bennett. Unfortunately, Chris Meek has had a tough weekend breaking transes, and unfortunately, he's not going to be in the grade 8. So let's take a look back.
Yeah.
There's the restart.
No, you're seeing the start, Jared. It's not wild enough, and I understand that. 2 cars. To be honest, these guys can play it safe. I don't know if Connor would have backed
look at
off.
this. Oh my gosh!
You were analysing this, aren't you? Straight away, seeing what you're going to see.
Man, well, the last time I called that I was going to get the whole shot from the outside, I took out half the field in the first race. So I'm not calling anything, but it's going to be a wild first turn, and they're hopefully going to take out the barriers. So it's amazing. You can't see anything, and you just got to kind of commit to what you know.
Travis, you're on that second row, but up front, the great wall of Ericsson, the Swedish wall up front. Andreas Backerud next to you. Larson McConnell, Ollie Bennett, and Connor Martell are in that A-Shock Nitro Rallycross road to the finish line. The finals are set. Get out of here, Travis. Good luck. See you later, buddy. Good luck. Hopefully we don't...
How many jinxes has he given himself in 5 minutes in the commentary box?
Well, again, yesterday he said, if I don't win, I'm going to shoot myself. So that's what, just quoting -TP199.
I've been in the lead in all the race. He knows. He knows. So Bennett's coming back in with
he's got his splitter
car in there. Yeah, is that the front or rear?
Looks like
it's
a rear.
an interesting way to get it back,
splitter,
but you got to do what you got to do sometimes, Jared.
Most definitely. Oh man, so I'm really interested to see if they take away those tire bales like they were saying they're going to. That is really interesting for me.
I'm interested to see
because nobody's seen it like that.
Ollie and Chris have a chat when they get back. I mean, Bennett to some extent will be pleased, obviously, that he's made it through to the final. He'll be disappointed for Chris. No one's going to be too livid about that. Stuff happens.
Everybody's on the same course.
When Travis said about it, he said, "Look, turn 1, stuff happens." I think you look at that. Chris is down low. There's a bit of roost coming off. Connor comes down from high to low. Chris gets a bit late on the brake, maybe less grip than he thought. There's so many variables, and that's why I'd never want a job in race control. I'd quite happily have a crack at spotting. I really would, but race control, nah, it's a no from me.
Well, Connor Martell, we saw a little graphic there. You can win a rip at Dirtfish with Connor Martell.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know if I can enter, though, but yeah, you can go rip around with Connor Martell. Check out his Instagram, and you go rip around with him. And
let's enter anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to go enter.
Fake name.
Yeah, I am Coley Andrew. from KU. Where's the KU? All right, so all joking aside, it's been a great action-packed day. You know, we've seen side by side.
The mechanic, Jared, so a big smile, like, yeah, cheers. What do you want to do with that?
That seems to be the consensus of energy here. There's Katie down there. She's rapping out with the team. She's
on the radio back to back.
But again, we have smiles on our faces, and you know what? Guess what? Ollie Bennett's in the Great 8. Katie is with OB now.
Well, as Ollie Bennett's discussing with Chris Meek, probably telling the tales of what we saw there at the start of that LCQ. Actually, outside the back of Bennett's car, the rear of it, the team brought that piece in from the driver's side door. So this car is not maybe in the best condition that it could be. As the team's getting it set and ready, I'm going to stand by here with Ollie Bennett as he's debriefing. I want to take it back to the first start. Man, 3 wide. Some decision making had to be made. And would you say that you benefited the best out of all 3 of those cars?
Yeah, I just had a great start. I don't know why I was a bit further back on the grid, and when I launched, I just came straight up behind Chris, turned out straight past Martel, and I was just in the middle. I was like, now what? And 3 doesn't go into 1. So I think me and Chris came together. I went into the barrier, and then I think he followed in. So yeah, not ideal.
As it relates to kind of your positioning now regarding the final, you told me before that LCQ, it's kind of a wash if you make it in, sort of, because the visibility is just going to be that tough. Do you still have that mindset?
Yeah, I think you can see it there. It's quite tight into turn 1 now. There's going to be 8 cars in the final. 8 definitely doesn't go into 1. So I think it's just going to be stay back for me, see what happens, maybe pick a few off in turn 1, and then, I think that'll be just get to the finish.
All right, Oliver Bennett making another final here in the Nitro Rallycross.
Well, I don't think he's too cross, is he? We both ended up in the wall. Stuff happens. A lot of damage on Bennett's car, isn't there? This is from earlier on in the day. 5-car race. Look, Kevin Eriksson, he dipped the nose of that car, Jared, on the brake once, and then he committed to the throttle. He was absolutely sure that the car was going to turn in and it was going to carry that pace around the outside. So, yeah, that was amazing. For me, I'll tell you what, if that doesn't win pass of the day, I'm going to be a bit grumpy about it. It's my energy pass of the day, I think, isn't it? And seriously, around the outside, that is absolutely epic.
When Travis he keeps calling it, emphatically the chainsaw. Ollie Eriksson, the other Eriksson bro, and this is KB. He says he hasn't seen the snow blast yet, but he will, as he's going to be behind Eriksson.
Do a lot in it, yeah. Larson hanging on there, Jared, from the drone was unbelievable in turn 1. He literally was on 45-degree slip angle, like a ton of opposite lock, and just kept it lit. He's been brave this weekend, he really has. Yesterday, that incredible run behind Backrud. This was McConnell versus Backrud in turn 1. So much snow, and that's what I'm saying. It was interesting earlier, Travis was like, you get it from any row, and then it's hang on a minute, this is not as good as I thought, because he hasn't been back there yet. So. Yeah, see how many of those tyres they remove. I think that will make a massive difference too. If they take the tyres off the apexes, you've got to realise none of the drivers will know what the grip is like 1 car further in than they've been able to use all day. So there are going to be people going in there basically on a little bit of a wing and a prayer, and the mistakes will come. So it's about whether or not you can capitalise.
Slippery wet, Bon Jovi. I know you're a big fan, so it's when we come back,
always listening.
Again, it's just some great racing here at Trois Rivières.
Turn your passion into winnings with JustBet. Watch your favorite international leagues and tournaments and get in the game with JustBet. We have the best odds on over 100 sports: football, basketball, boxing, rugby, motorsports, even virtual matches. Register on the JustBet mobile platform, mobile.justbetja.com, or visit one of our over 100 JustBet locations island-wide. What are you waiting for? Get in the game and win big with JustBet.
Proven Wealth Limited. We are experts in investments, stock brokerage, financial advisory, corporate finance, cambio and foreign exchange, asset management, unit trust management, pension fund management. Let us manage your wealth to suit your lifestyle. Contact us today at 876-908-3800 or visit our website at provenwealth.com.
For generations, farmers have grown the humble, nutritious cassava. Harvested, ground, and then baked to perfection. Cassava transforms into our iconic bami. Now, imagine this uniquely Jamaican product being enjoyed at dinner tables across the world. A taste of Jamaica in every bite. Rainforest Bami, from our farm to your table.
On the go, grab your fave True Shake, packed with 9 grams protein, 30% calcium required per day, 24 key vitamins and minerals, 3 great flavors, vanilla, peanut, and butter pecan.
Try a True Shake. It's really good.
Quick and convenient meal replacement. Shake and go with True Shake.
How do you control it when you know it's a bit out of control?
Yeah, it's just controlled chaos, really. I don't know. It's being easy on the throttle. I know in turns 1 and 2 they're super fast, and there's not really deep ruts, but there's a lot of different ones in there. So if you're like on and off the throttle heavily, it just grabs them, and you don't know where you're going. So you just have to be really smooth and patient.
Smooth and patient. Ha! That's a funny one out here on the ice. Now, earlier today, Coley, we talked a little bit about the tires earlier. Coley took a real deep dive into what these tires, the studs, and what I like to call the bling here at Nitro Rallycross.
Right, tyres. We've been talking about, and we will be talking about them all weekend long. So I've gathered a few up from the paddock so we can show you guys in a little bit more detail what we're talking about. So starting over this side, this is the standard Yokohama tyre which we use in Nitro Rallycross. It's very wide, obviously we've got 1,000 horsepower and you need as much grip as possible. Treads on this work like they do in your road car. They move the water, or in our case sometimes the dirt, out of the way. This one's pretty worn. Again, 1,000 horsepower will do that to it. Been a fantastic tyre for the season, but we needed something a little bit different for up here in Canada. So that's what it's based on. None of the teams have bought new ones of those with them. Well, they are new, but they've been modified. We'll get onto that in a second. So this is a standard rally tyre. So a rally tyre like you'd see in the World Rally Championship for Rally Sweden. It's got these studs which are into the tyre. They're around 7 millimeters long. They're tungsten carbide tipped, so they're super hard and they dig down into the ice. The reason the tyre is narrow is to allow the car to put a little bit more pressure onto these studs and push them down into the road. But again, that we didn't think was going to be quite enough when you got 1,000 horsepower. So we've taken these tyres, and what we've done is we've shaved the tread completely off them, new ones. This was in Sweden, and then they've been flown over here after the work's been done, and this is what you end up with. So these weapons here, very special indeed. 100 of them have been made for the series, for the 2 events, one in here in Trois-Rivières and one of course in Calgary in a couple of weeks time. Normally in a race weekend a driver would use 12 tyres for a race weekend. They've got 8 tyres for the 2 race weekends because they're not going to wear out in the same way, because these studs here, while they're digging into the ice, shouldn't wear away. They take the tyre, shave the surface off it, they then put a pattern on the top and they drill holes in it, make sure that every single one of these is exactly the same in terms of tread pattern. They put a liner in the tyre which stops the air from escaping from it. Drilling holes in a tyre is never a good thing. You stick the studs up from the back, you put the bolts on the top, and that then means that the stud retention is excellent, because what you might have noticed with the rally tyre is some of the studs are missing, and that's where the tyre overheats and starts to move around and you'll just see that the studs come out. So these studs will not come out. Now all the extra metal work, all the work that's been done to the tyre, even with the tread shaved off, it means that these are 11 pounds or 5 kilos heavier per corner than the standard tyres in Nitro Rallycross. But I say a very, very special piece of kit for a special car on an awesome icy surface.
All right, you can see the fans out here and enduring a bit of cold, but they're built for it. And all this speak of studs, we're here, but another stud that's enjoying obviously all the fans out there is our man Street Bike Tommy. Speaking of studs, Tommy.
I'm just a snowman with a carrot nose and cigarette eyes, and I can't really build a good snowman, but I'm down here at the track at Trois-Rivières. I got one. Everybody's coming in. The fans are just showing up. I'm down here trying to get my my Canadian on. I don't really know what to do in the snow other than build snowmen. But I'm mixing it up with the fans today. We're going to be watching tons of racing, and tune in a little later. I'm going to be having a little competition with the locals. Going to get some kids down here to try to build better snowmen than me, because apparently I'm not very good at it. Yeah, I don't know if you can see these, but they're pretty ridiculously bad. My friend here, it's not very pretty. So hopefully these kids can build better snowmen than me. So tune in a little bit and we'll be back at you.
All right, looks like caged animals here. The Group E vehicles, side-by-sides, a four-wheel drive rally. And again, the fans, like I said, enduring, just grabbing a cold libation and grabbing a good time. You can see all the fans of different ages. Coley, what are your thoughts about this event, man?
I'm loving it. It's just nice to see a different surface. Yeah, we loved it if it had been a little bit colder. We can't control that. Right? Yeah, we can't. I mean, okay, we wouldn't have loved it for our feet, but for the surface of the track, it would be awesome if it had been a little bit colder. But I think racing on snow looks awesome. I'd love to have a go at it myself.
Yeah.
I'm excited to go to Calgary in a couple of weeks' time. 1988 Winter Olympic venue, not somewhere I've been before. Always love going somewhere new. Yeah. And I think on the evidence of what we've seen this weekend, we've got NRX Next with us as well in Calgary, so it'd be interesting to see those cars out on track too. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, some great racing. Side-by-sides are getting staged. This is the Nitro Rallycross side-by-side finals. After this, we have a four-wheel drive finals. And then finally, 8 cars, Group E, the final to make history here at Trois-Rivières. All right, we're seeing a few of these side-by-sides. Who's going to send it? Here's who is on the side-by-side Nitro Rallycross grid. You're seeing Mark Meyer, Martin Villiard, Jonathan Tufo, Daniel Tardif, Joey Morrison, and Jacques Gosselin. So, 15-second start, Coley.
So Mark Meyer, your pole man in the 319, has chosen the high line. Closest to your camera is Martin Villiard, the 28. Don't count out row 2 because we've seen those are pretty exciting as well. Chris Meeks just come and join us, Chris. No rest for the wicked, no escape for you. We're going to have a good chat.
No rest for the meek.
Red lights coming on, looking for the green. Let's see who gets away well. Still a few stubs left in the tires. Looking for a better reaction time on the inside line. Definitely for Villiard. Takes the whole shot immediately from row 2 behind Tardif. Is now up the inside of Mark Meyer as well. Mark Meyer drops down to P3 in the orange side-by-side. Coming around the outside, so Meyer in the 319 in P3. Maybe going to try and out-drag them down that back straight. These side-by-sides, a lot of different specs, but at the minute, it's Villiard leading. Chris, how's it going?
Not great. Not my finest weekend, to be honest.
You've had a tough go. You've broken 2 transmissions, or transmissions have broken underneath you. You created the Franken transmission. You and Bennett get into it. You get into Connor. What's your consensus?
It's always difficult in the moment. You think something else happened, but when I watch the replays, I moved across on Ollie, and that's what instigated it. But I did get him in my peripheral up the outside, and I sensed Ollie was just going to squeeze me to the inside, so I went to counteract it, but then he didn't come.
Yeah.
So I steered out. That's my fault, but yeah.
Thank you for admitting that. I appreciate it. That's the first step, is admitting you're wrong.
Yes.
The second is accept. No, just kidding. It's tough.
The second step's harder.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks to your team, right? Shout out to your team, and we'll see you at the remainder of the season.
Yeah. No, we're going to finish out this season, and we'll see for next year. But definitely want to improve in Calgary for sure. That's one thing, But these rallycross events, you need to get out of the blocks good.
We heard your interview with Katie, and me and Jared were talking about as well. You were saying, and obviously I've been around rallycross for a long time. You do, like, a good weekend starts with a good practice, doesn't it? And then good time practice and being easier in the battle brackets. And kind of, if it goes wrong at the start, it snowballs the wrong way, and you need it to snowball the right way right from the get-go. It's a tough weekend, I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, let's talk about the racing going on right here. We got a good go here with Villiard and Meyer there in first and second. Morrison sitting in third, Tufo fourth, and Tardif sitting in fifth. So that battle, again, the Mayer's giving it to Villiard. Here we go, going for that Yokohama Tire Joker lap. We're fighting for that lead. Is that the right move, Coley? Meek, what do you think about this Yokohama Tire Joker lap? But Coley first.
Yeah, I think it was, because he's got the gap behind Jared. As long as you don't drop back into the traffic. If you drop back into the traffic, it's a bit of a disaster. There's 4 laps. He's gone Joker early. That gives him 2 laps to try and get the overlap on the car in front. He was all over the back of him. It's tough to pass, so definitely a good move. He's got got to nail this lap on, and I'd expect Villiard to respond on the next lap and go straight back again. How's the tactics for you, Chris? I mean, obviously you've got a good spotter. Dave Mansfield, I think, is doing your spotting. Is he, or is he Ollie's car?
Yeah, it depends if
you're in the same race.
Yeah, if we're in the same race, then I have Graham Rodemark.
Oh, Graham's awesome as well. So Kevin Hanson's a long-time spotter. How are you getting on with Graham?
Yeah, mega. Honestly, all the guys in the team are 100%.
That's cool. Who do you really not like? Just hit me with it.
Today, I have to say myself.
You're beating and you know, and I don't know if you hear all the praise that Coley gives you, and I've seen some of your runs, but you know, Coley's just the voice of Rallycross and more in-depth rally knowledge, and he speaks so highly of you. And again, you know, you going head-to-head, wheel-to-wheel. You know, the Finnish rally is kind of what you're really known for, just setting the record, the gnarliest, all these things. But wheel to wheel, that's a kind of whole new bag of tricks for you. And, you know, seeing the side-by-sides, love to see you in side-by-side. Are you kind of eager to do more of this kind of wheel to wheel stuff?
Yeah, for sure. You know, what I bring in my experience from rally, I was always fast. Whatever I drove, when I'm here on a clean lap, I'm fast. But again, it's wheel to wheel, and I thought in Phoenix I learned a lot. Obviously, here is a completely foreign environment for everybody apart from the Ericssons.
Yeah.
When you have a hand in building and testing the car and you live on snow half the year, it's a benefit. But still, this environment, the way the track's developed, it hasn't been that cold this weekend. All credit to the guys here at Troy Riviere who've worked hard to prepare the track. But yeah, the deterioration in the track every lap, every race we went out, every session was different conditions, you know, so you had to adapt. But like with my gearbox issues yesterday, it just set me on the back foot.
Yeah. So Villiard still out front, but guess what? He has not taken the Yokohama Tire Joker lap. The white flag is out. He's going to take it here, and there's 1.7 seconds. That delta, you know, it's up to 4 seconds. I think that Mayer might close it and get the lead over Villiard, who's had it the entirety of these 4 laps, but we are 3.5. Look at that. He is chomping at the bit. That bright orange side-by-side back there. I think he's going to get him.
Should have responded earlier, Jared. You've got to remember, so the side-by-side guys in Nitro, their first couple of races, they might have had some slightly dodgy tactics because they're not used to
going for it.
Canadian guys, in, and Mayer's going to easily.
Oh, look at that. Tafoe moves up to second.
So you've got to watch that move back, because if you've got the gap, take it. That's what we saw. Who was it earlier on today? Was it Backer? When he had the gap early, he went a lap early, came out still in front. Good, do it. The second you've got the chance to do it, and then don't give anybody more than a lap to respond, I feel.
And we thought that Travis even, you know, he deep, you know, the tire came off, right? If he would have hit the Joker early on, he might have still retained that lead, even with that tire debeating coming off, because he might have maintained. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, you got to choose. But strategy always says, you never know.
No, if you'd known about the puncture, you'd have tried to avoid it, wouldn't you?
Right.
If you can, the nice thing about jokering early, if you have the opportunity to, is
there it is.
You can
Mayer gets the win. Sorry to cut you off. Mayer gets the win. Tafoe gets second, and Villiard gets third. Morrison bringing in, and Tardif, a solid, great side-by-side race. Getting some great insight from an absolute legend in the rally world and rallycross. Meek, unfortunately, joined us here. He is the 9th racer, only 8 in the finals, but side-by-side, a great addition to the history-making race here at Trois Rivières. And the results are in here for this race. Congratulations to Mark Mayer getting the victory here. Jonathan Tafoe second. Martin Villiard rounds out that podium spot. Nitro Rallycross side-by-side final here in Montreal.
Can you hear the director in your ears, Chris?
Yes.
Yeah. Say no, he knows what's coming.
Yeah. Let's roll the tape,
I've got to go now, says Chris. I'm off. Right.
Look, you guys go. I'll talk you through.
Yeah, please.
Go on.
Well, I feel like you're Ollie Bennett in the middle right now.
No, there you see clearly I moved right, but I got the Ollie in my peripheral vision, and I just seen him move slightly to my left. I said, I'm going to get squeezed into the snowbank. You'll see Ollie just make a slight move left there.
Yeah.
And I reacted, but I reacted too aggressively on it.
But this is part of the learning curve, isn't it? I mean, you know, think about your early days in rally. You know, you're a rally legend now, but when you're in your early days, you're not a rally legend, are you? You're stuffing cars in hedges and stuff. Not just you, everybody who learns.
Yeah,
and it's part of the process, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's high level to be learning the process, of course. But
it is. Yeah, no, that's clearly my fault. You know, you can see it. So all apologies to the guys, to Connor for spinning him, but look.
It happens.
Again, the acceptance is part of it.
I could just see Ollie coming, and I just sensed him closing me in, and there's a snowbank there on the inside, and I was right up against the snowbank, you know.
Yeah, it's not about the torture that we're putting you through. It's about the education on racing and the racecraft. You know, you talk about procedure. You got to start with the amateur seizure before you come procedure.
It's not easy. You know, it's not easy. Even for someone like Chris, who's got a hell of a lot of experience, it really this is all new in multiple cars on track. Even the surface is new as well. It's hard to spot things like the banks, the proximity of everything. So it's been a good weekend. It's good to have Chris in the box. Not really where he wants to be, but you know.
No. Well, this is something you're
more
akin to. Yeah, this is something you're more akin to here. 4-wheel drive finals here. These Subarus, you know, you talk about the restrictor plates and all that, Coley, and 3 vehicles here in the final. They're all going to podium, but what order are we going to see the father and son come out on 1 and 2, 1, 3, or 2 and 3? Let's just be quite honest. But we are about to go into our 4-wheel drive final here at Nitro Rallycross. Here we are, so we're seeing the Alex Moreau on pole position. He got that lucky pass because Jerome Malloy went out, had that bad luck turn, went to the bank, and then his obviously it's the father-son, right? Jerome
so Jerome Maillot on the back row is the Canadian rally champion. He's the son. His dad is on the front row on the inside, and the number 29, the Hawkeye Subaru with the yellow branding on the side, that is the car which they were thinking would give them the biggest fight. The dad, Maillot Senior, admits that he does this for fun, but Jerome Maillot in the background will want to win this. So championship winner of Canadian Rally. Going to see if he can do a rally cross move. It's a great start, sequential boxing that 34mm restrictor, about 300 horsepower. Going to go around the outside of Dad, or is he going to let Dad have some glory in turn 1? Oh, he's going for it. Looks few small inputs. Lovely job, nicely around the outside. Chris Meek likes that. What do you reckon?
Yeah, that was proper to come from the back of the grid. Okay, he seemed to get a really good jump on the car number 2, but yeah, to come right around the outside of your dad, I think he'll be proud of that.
You saw Kevin Ericsson's move earlier on. Were you in Kevin's race?
Yes, I was. He disappeared. And I was covered in dust, and I just seen him pop out the front. What a manoeuvre.
That was brilliant, wasn't it? He just went up high. Looking at how smooth the road is up high, do you think there is a bit more grip, or at least less bumps up there?
It's changing every race. Some races where there's a big delay or a big gap between the events, they blow it and clean the outside to give the grip. All the times you come out and it's sitting like 6 inches deep in powder, so you can't use that outside line. So it changes every session.
So Jerome Maillot leads from Moreau, and older Maillot has gone. Joel Maillot has gone into the joke. I see we've updated the graphics with a JE and a JO, so that we can figure out who's who, which is always good. Subarus, how many Subarus? Did you privateer Subaru WRC stuff?
Yeah, back 2007, 2008, I done a few rallies in Ireland in a Subaru, and then I done 2005, I done my first ever world rally in a Subaru S10 in Rally GB.
S10. What headlights is that one for the people at home?
I can't even remember. You're the boffin on the Subarus. It was an S10. The factory teams were using S11. I used an S10. But yeah, we had a good battle with Colin McRae. That's when Colin was in the Skoda.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Was that with the gearbox when he had to change it? Was that Australia when he had to change
the gearbox? That was Australia. He was leading the rally.
That was gutting, man. Wow. Yeah, him and Nicky Chris leading in the Skoda, which was it was a good car, wasn't it? But it wasn't fancy for winning events. They were leading, and they decided to change the transmission at the last minute, and the team didn't get it done in time. It was pretty gutting. That would have been a great extra win for the McRae career.
Well, we're speaking of Colin McRae, legend who we lost early. You had some great words about Ken. You talked about him, and we had that beautiful video piece. I don't know if you've seen it. You had some great words conversing with him about Leah and just getting into all these things. Anything else you want to add about KB Forever and just the legend that is KB?
It just still feels not real.
Right.
I still get that feeling, I think, and then did that actually happen? It doesn't feel real. You know, I knew Ken to a certain degree. He invited me at his house many times. Unfortunately, I never took him up on the opportunity. It just didn't work out with my schedule. But I met him maybe once a year for 15, 16 years. And the first thing he did, how's the family? How's wife? How's kids? So family was number one. But man, what he'd done for the world of motorsport, he transformed how people view it. He brought a whole new audience to it. His chill demeanour, his marketing nice. Man,
signature laugh.
Yeah,
signature laugh
is one of my favourite. There's some great videos. There's one of the turbocharging when they were filming in HRD, wasn't it? And they set the turbo on fire and he drops it.
Yeah. The only thing I could say, maybe I mentioned in that clip earlier, but he taught life how to live itself.
Yeah,
well said.
He lived it, proper.
Absolutely, to the max, didn't they? He really did.
Well, he admired you too, and that's what's cool. Is it's a mutual respect. So do it for Ken and KB forever. And there's those people that just leave their mark, and the affinity runs deep. That's what's really cool, man. Thank you for sharing your stories with us.
No, and like I say, all thoughts are with the family, but I'm sure we're going to see Leo out there,
and Micah and
races.
Kira,
yes, and all of them coming through behind. There's going to be a dynasty coming behind for sure, and I'm sure that wasn't Ken's plan, I'm sure that's going to be followed through.
Talent runs deep, doesn't it? There,
yeah, it's cool, man.
Leah's been so impressive, and I really hope we'll see her come and do some more side by side with Nitro Rallycross. I really do. So.
Yeah, again, thank you for sharing, Mr. Meek, an absolute legend himself. So, all right, so the Malloy's here. We got Jerome, and then it looks like Moreau sitting in second, and then the father out back. The other Malloy, they're all going to podium.
They're pretty much out. They thought this was going to go. Yeah, when I spoke to the team, Test Racing, as Matthew who runs the team, very kindly ran me through the specs. I'm a bit of a geek, I wanted to know roughly what's going on. Sequential boxes, the 2.5 engine we don't have over in Europe.
You a geek? No.
Yeah, I love it. And it is Jerome Maillot, who is the Canadian rally champion, come here for a bit of rallycross action. Hasn't put too many dents in the car because their championship season starts in just a couple of weeks' time. So Jerome Maillot onto the back straight now, extra sideways as the checker flag comes. Big P up there in the stand with the flag. Maillot takes it. His rival Moreau is going to come around that last corner to take P2. That's who they thought would be there. And then Maillot Senior will get P3. Oh, go on, get in front of the fans. That's what they want. Well, maybe not. Not quite a donut, but good effort. A J turn the other way round. Yeah. Reverse J.
Well, Meek, we'll let you enjoy the festivities. Go watch the race. Thank you so much. We'll see you in Calgary.
Yes.
We'll see you at Glen Helen, and you are Irish, right?
Yes.
Okay, just want to clarify because St. Patrick's Day lands on Glen Helen.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
We might have to hold that off till the Sunday. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Here are the results. Jerome Malloy gets the win. Alex Moreau and Joel Malloy, the father, brings it on in. Thank you so much. Coley and I are up in the booth, and of course, getting the dirt, getting the ice, getting the snow. Katie, what's up?
I like the way you say that. Chris Meek's car, obviously behind me, but his teammate Ollie Bennett's already hit the track. He said that for him, he feels like I'm actually more confident in him doing well than he feels. He says that visibility when you're starting so far behind the track, out on the track, is going to be extremely difficult, but he's going to take my confidence and put that in the car. Connor Martell, who was here, he was one of those guys who's been talking about those ruts all day long. I loved his example of motocross. The idea you want to nail every single one of them or you're going to lose your rhythm, and that's going to be a big issue. Taking a quick stop here with Travis Pastrana, because I think what was interesting about what he told me before getting in the car was the fact that he has some very aggressive drivers behind him. He is in the second row, which is good. He said there might be a little bit of ice there that he's going to get that grip, but the problem with that is he knows what's happening behind him. And remember, as he's been saying all day long, it's like chainsaws are chasing him. So he might have the grip, but he knows that if he gets anywhere and in the mix with anybody, those tires can be sliced, which is what happened to him earlier on in the day. Are you guys all having a good time, by the way? You seeing those cars go by? Got some smiling faces over here. Meanwhile, over in the Dreyer and Reinbold racing tent, I talked to the team members, and they said those cars have been behaving all day long. Robin, right before he left, he was stretching out his legs, which I thought was a really interesting thing that he was doing. It looked like he was doing a little bit of yoga. I asked him kind of what was the expectation out there, and he said the problem is there's absolutely no expectations when it comes down to the final. I think those are pretty choice words as it relates to the Nitro Rallycross final that we're about to see.
The only car left in the paddock, Chris Meek. The other 8 Group E cars are out now. They'll be getting ready to form up on the grid for one last blast around this icy oval in Trois-Rivières. Round 7 of Nitro Rallycross, round 8 to follow, of course, in Calgary in a fortnight's time. Round 9 and 10 doubleheader at Glen Helen, and that will see off the first ever season of the FC1X, starting in Lydden Hill in Europe, heading up to Sweden, then across. This is a look at some of the action from earlier on. The most cars we've seen on track so far this weekend, of course, is 5 in the heat races earlier on today. We're about to see 8 up into turn 1. And if you missed the LCQ, there are only 3 in that, and that didn't go according to plan at all. So
yeah, we had those words with Meek. Pastrana, of course, running that Ken Block Forever, the retro 05 rally graphic. He got in the bank. That's where you saw it. Ollie Eriksson went. Look at that front right corner, that back left. Boom. Tire says, I'm a peace out. The Yokohama tire, just incident. It wasn't Yokohama tire's fault. And then again, looking like Busta Rhymes there, busting some bumpers as Ollie Eriksson gets into it. And there we see Pastrana. He made a claim when he was here in the booth. He says he hasn't seen snow in the face yet. Well, guess what? He's got the Great Wall of Sweden in front of him, courtesy of the Eriksson brothers and the Olsbergs machines. Robin Larson doing it for the gram right there, big airing it out. This is not a drifting competition. There's no style points. So as you can see, Travis Pastrana comes on in, the snow camo, looking like Hoth. Car Wars, not Star Wars. The bashing continues on. Fraser McConnell, who got TQ yesterday behind Andreas Backerud. I think this was a great debut of these vehicles on snow, on ice. I think it's all things considered. I think it's, the cars have held together. Again, FYI, NRX. And here we are. You can see the snow on the trees, and guess what? Here is the tree, or the grid, better yet. The A-Shock Energy Nitro Rallycross road to the finish line. Well, this is the road. This is the start line of the finish line. The pole position, Ollie Eriksson. Kevin Eriksson, his brother right next to him. Second row, Andreas Backerud sitting second in points. Next to him, Travis Pastrana, the number 199 with that KB Forever livery. Fraser McConnell, who got TQ yesterday, he's in row 3. Next to him, Robin Larson, who leads the pack in points coming to this round. And finally, row 4, Connor Martell for Vermont Sports Car, and finally, Ollie Bennett. Well, here we are. What do you think? Are you excited? I'm pumped. You can feel it.
I am, yeah. All 5 of our championship front runners are in there. Kevin Eriksson is the ringer. He's on the front row. He's not in the championship fight, although we have got to take drop scores into account. It's not going to bring him up there, Jared. Championship leader Larson, he's not in the best of the positions compared to his competitors. So Ollie Eriksson, Backerud and Pastrana all ahead of him. You've got Fraser McConnell on the same row as him. There is Kevin Eriksson, famous for his round the outside moves. He's done another one today. This time he's going to have to pull one off his brother, depending on which side of the grid Ollie Eriksson chooses. So Ollie Eriksson is going to get to choose which side of the grid he's on. That means the rest of the grid will form up. So he's number 1 on the grid. So 3, 5 and 9 will line up whichever side of the grid Ollie Eriksson chooses. Now, I think what's interesting here, Jared, is from a team order's point of view in the Eriksson squad. Ollie is in the championship fight. Kevin is not.
But you could drop your worst performance.
You can,
Kevin
but
Eriksson.
Not going to bring Kevin into it.
Yeah.
Not going to bring Kevin into it. I think he's too far down the point standing. So I don't think they'll do that at the start. But I think if it was later on, you might just see. I don't know if they'll do the switcheroo or not. But I certainly think if one of them was going to be a rear gunner, it'd be Kevin, not Ollie. Yeah. Ollie's gone high. So Oliver Eriksson, the pole man, has chosen to go high. So that means 3, 5 and 9. 3, 5, 7 will line up behind, and then left 2, 4, 6 down on the inside line.
A wonky start grid as we look at the cockpit of Kevin Eriksson. He says, 22 was a tough year. We talked about how he missed the first 2 races. He got hit by the very car that he helped develop. Well, coincidentally, he says this year, his number's 23. He's wearing Jordans. 23 might very well be his year. Just get it together, get his mind right. He says his enemy is his mind. It's not so much the car, it's not the competition, it's the brain. It's a game of inches, the inches in between his ears.
So good earlier, wasn't it, when Kate said to him, what's the difference? Me. The difference is
that's humility. And
it's
I think
honesty.
It's honesty, it's humility. And that's Meek saying, hey, I messed up. Fraser.
That was cool, actually, as well, because you don't always get that from driving. No. Chris, like, you know what, I messed up. I nailed the teammate. And yeah, it's good. But that also keeps the right atmosphere. Yeah, look at this. They can choose where they want to line up. They can choose where they want to line up as long as they're either side of a pretty faint blue line now on that grid. so they can do that. That's to avoid the ruts which are developed during the course of the weekend, laying down 1,000 horsepower on 325 studs on each of those tyres.
Wow, you're seeing 8,000 horsepower Nitro Rallycross making history here at Trois-Rivières. Yeah, I speak American. Guess what? I just spoke French.
He's doing
We're
well.
in French Canada.
Right?
I just said Canada. FYI, we are here in Montreal, Canada. Some history being made here. Andrew Coley, I'm Jared Deanna. Let's get ready to send it, Canada. And here we are. Here is our pole position. Ollie Eriksson, the Great Wall of Sweden. Right next to him is brother Kevin Eriksson. Next on the second row, Andreas Backerud, Dreyer Reinbold, RX Cartel. Next to him, the TP, number 199 with that KB Forever livery. Fraser McConnell, Robin Larson, third row. Connor Martell, Ollie Bennett, bring up the rear. Andrew Coley, do the honors. Man. Come on.
That's annoying. Now, come on.
It's not annoying.
We were all ready.
Guess what? We get to do it again. Somebody broke into a car or something? What's going on here? An incorrect lineup, illegal lineup.
Okay, so what are they saying then? Are they unhappy? Is somebody
Backerud, you're not within the lines?
Look how clean that bit of tar, I was going to say a bit of tar, that bit of ice is under his front left wheel.
Yeah. Well, I feel like what they're doing right, see, he says you got to go that way a little bit.
Over.
Rightfully so. You know, got to stay within the lines. What I feel like they're doing right now is, I don't know if you watch drag racing, any form, but when you get to the higher horsepower, they lay fresh rubber patch.
Yeah.
Then you get the guy in front, they line him up, little left, little right, get right back on that right track.
Yeah.
And that way you're going to get the ideal, most premier grip. That's what they're doing right now. So they're lining up those studs, 300 plus on those Yokohama tire corners, all-wheel drive, 1,000 horsepower, FC1X, debut of it this year, first time ever on ice, and here they are. So they're going to line them up, see how it goes as we're riding here with Fraser McConnell. You know, hey, I feel like, you know, referencing another sport, I feel like they're icing the kicker right now when it comes to American football. Timeout. They kind of ice the drivers, no pun intended, on ice as well. Dad jokes, man. I'm full of them. That's why they bring me in. That's why they bring in the big guns. I mean, big guns.
So Backerud, bless him.
Oh, what's going on here? So Travis is over here. Backerud.
Okay, let's take a look at our grid. Let's find some paperwork and see who's messed up.
Yeah.
So it's Ollie Eriksson. Yeah, yes, Kevin Eriksson, Basic, Pastrana, and Backerud on the wrong side of the grid. So Ollie Eriksson, remember what I said. Ollie Eriksson as number 1 should be followed by, when we say numbers here, this is where they've qualified. They've completely messed it up on the grid, I'm afraid. So Ollie Eriksson is on pole. It should be behind him Backerud, McConnell, Martell. So, okay, actually,
all the drivers
all three are on the wrong side.
Everybody needs to back up.
They haven't realised what's happened. When the pole man chooses, everybody should go with him. The only way this is going to work is just to reverse the whole grid out and get back in there. This is suboptimal. Maybe it's the language barrier, Jared.
Qu'est-ce que c'est, cluster?
Je voudrais un baguette.
Yeah. I'm just over here.
That's the best joke of the day.
I'm just over here.
Calling that. That's my A-Shock Energy best joke of the day.
Which one?
The one you're French.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Yeah.
Cluster?
Yeah, that was my favourite.
Yeah.
Well done.
I'm just waiting for some poutine, which again, I will go on record and say, no, I haven't yet. I haven't really thoroughly enjoyed the poutine yet. I'm going to go on record and say, if you haven't had poutine yet, if you don't know what poutine is, I don't know how it's not American. It's French fries with cheese curds with gravy on top.
I mean, why not?
I mean, it should be American.
That's a dish.
That is a massive dish.
You can't have everything. America.
You know.
You can borrow some stuff from elsewhere.
Yeah, we have.
You know?
They're called French fries.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Remember they were called freedom fries there for a moment? Well, as we are getting re-racked here, get them properly here, and we've had a good laugh up here, a good time. What's that?
I'm just laughing at the fact that we're seeing some of the best drivers in the world reverse park. Pretty badly. I mean, it's not very easy in a race car. You can't see behind you. Don't forget. So
you can only win if you go forward.
Yeah, it's Let's hope they all get it back into the forward gear before we set off the line.
Well, Kevin Eriksson's got a Panda riding shotgun. Who do you got riding shotgun down there, Katie?
I'm solo here, in fact. But Robin Larson was telling me earlier today, before going to this final, one thing I didn't mention is that he really wants to maximize on those mistakes that people in front of him are going to make. And guys, especially with the shift of what they're doing right now, we know how serious and focused they are once they put their helmet on. How is this actually going to play with their mind and try to keep them mistake free, especially with a few of the drivers in the back chomping at the bit?
We were all fired up and ready to go. It was playing with my mind. I was full of adrenaline. Jared had done the big build-up. We were about to go, and it's like, I'm actually just going to reverse park a bunch of €400,000 rally cars, with the dudes who don't normally reverse them out the paddock. There's people doing this. Like, you have your number one mechanic gets you out back because they have the stuff, and you just know exactly what to do, and then you just got a guy going, move that over there. It's just
you know
not
what
that
I can add to that. I'm standing next to all the mechanics. I'm sure they're actually quite worried too, is the fact that what's going to be happening to these drivers. They're in control.
Thank you so much, Katie. We'll come back to you in a little bit. And of course, the trophy, you're down there on the grid. But Coley, all joking aside, you want to get that proper start. You want to see where it's at.
It's not what you needed.
If they started and were improperly racked on that grid,
you can't do that.
Whistle, default, run them back. No.
The only people who are chill here, to be honest, are the Ericssons. They're on the front row, and both them, they lined up. Ollie was like, I'm going right. Everybody else was like, I'm just going to go here.
Ericsson's like, I remember my first race. Yeah. And it very well might have been a mistake with the starter, just guiding them to the way.
Let's not forget that from the back of the car, they all look pretty similar, and the Ericsson's liveries are pretty similar. One's slightly red, one's slightly orange. I think there's one of Kevin's sponsors on the rear bumper, full geek mode.
Yep. Yeah, you got Dixon on the roof as well.
But the other cars won't necessarily have clocked who they're sponsoring. They're just pulling up in the side of the grid they think they're on. It does suggest that maybe the three drivers behind thought Ollie would take the low line, Jared. They thought he'd bet on the inside. Remember what I said yesterday? Drivers normally bet, you give them a choice, they'll always go inside.
Right.
It might be compromised. No, but I'll get the best start. Because in their heads, they're always going to get the best start. If you get the best start, you want to be low.
It looks like we are in the proper formation here now. So, so you're looking Kevin Eriksson, low side, Pastrana, Larson, Bennett. Now on the other side, the high side, Ollie, Backerud, Fraser McConnell, and Connor Martell. They are in the proper order now. And we are ready, again, icing them, game of inches. It's all about mental capacity. Let's see what we got here. And here we go. We're about to send them now officially. We are in the right grid order. Ollie Eriksson, Kevin Eriksson on that front row. Andreas Backerud, Travis Pastrana, Fraser McConnell versus Robin Larson. Connor Martell and Oliver Bennett on that back row. 8 drivers, 8,000 horsepower. Are you ready to send it? For the first time ever, the most cars on ice, FC1X machines. Coley, let's get ready to send it!
So which one of the Ericssons is going to get it done this time? Kevin Eriksson, known for his round the outside. This time he's got to go round the inside. His brother Oliver outside him. Can Oliver Eriksson finally get the win? He's come close a few times. You can see the nitro lights coming on. It's got dark here in Canada. We're about to go green and see who's going to take the win at round 7. Drone flies in from the background. He's going to bunch wheel spin from both sides of the grid. Looks like a better start for Eriksson. Backward goes sideways. Pastrana, a bit of contact. Larson up. The roost is unbelievable. Ollie Eriksson comes around the outside of Kevin Eriksson. There is a 1-2 for the Ericssons. Oliver leading in the background. No carnage we can see so far. Robin Larson gets a bit sideways. His visibility is poor. But Pastrana holding on just in front of him. I have no idea who's in P5, 6, 7 yet.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I am impressed that we did not see any carnage right out of the gate. I thought for sure. Look at that. So you're seeing Ollie Eriksson, Kevin Eriksson, Pastrana there in 3rd. It looks like you are seeing Robin Larson sitting in 4th. Coincidentally, his number 4, Fraz, right behind him.
So, Jared, now what's critical is who does what with the Joker strategy. Pastrana hasn't gone. Larson hasn't gone. Fraz goes. Fraser McConnell goes Joker straight away from P5. Can he get back out in P6 or 7? It's Backward he comes out in front of, I think. So he's managed to hold on to it. That's not a bad Joker by Fraser McConnell. He's come out in front of Backward and Bennett. He wouldn't want him to get held up when he was having problems. He's got Martell in front. So McConnell's Joker. Watch for him on the gaps to the leader.
Hey, also, we were talking about the tire bales potentially being removed. It doesn't look like they removed them.
No,
they maintained them. And I think that's and going into
Larson,
the bank, that is Robin Larson, our points leader. So we got Eriksson, Pastrana, 1, 2, 3. Pastrana would love to get on the box. Talks about not making mistakes, but Eriksson's put a distance between them. Looks like 1.2 seconds and 3.9 seconds. Pastrana behind Ollie.
Look at the visibility, Jared. The lights are on, but that then lights up. The snow roof's kind of, putting a light behind a sheet. You just can't see anything at all. So the contrast is good if you've got clear road in front of you. Look at the Ericssons. Massive gap for them back to P3 already. Remember, none of the drivers behind other than McConnell is Joker. So who's going to go now? Larson doesn't go. Pastrana doesn't go. So they're all staying in position. Is Connor Martell going to go or not? At the minute, the field's gapping out here, and McConnell 10 seconds back as you see Eriksson. Oliver Eriksson runs wide. Kevin Eriksson behind. Will he put a move on his brother?
I don't think so. I think Kevin Eriksson, as you said, not team quarters, but Ollie Eriksson has a real stab at a championship this year. Kevin, not part of the equation. He's going to run defensive block. You know, if this is American football, you got that blocker, the running back, he's going to go and follow that lead block. That's what Kevin Eriksson does. He's going to throw out his elbows for his brother, and I think Ollie Eriksson's off to the races. Just the way he's been racing, he knows the car, he knows the vehicle. He has a lot of confidence going into this final battle.
Gapped his brother again there, Jared. There's actually 50 or so meters between these two, but the roost is still enough. Fraser McConnell pulls out from the slipstream now, trying to come around the outside. He's going to pass Martel. So Martel made with initial. McConnell's gone straight past him. Fraz with a bunch of steering lock. I'm going to try and rotate the car tight now into turn 3. Into the Joker lap has gone. Who is it?
That's Eriksson. That's Ollie Eriksson.
Yeah, it is Ollie Eriksson.
Ollie Eriksson. Yeah. Wow, that is crazy. An aggressive early Yokohama Tire Joker lap, but he's got such a gap and a lead. 3.5 seconds.
He's come out in P2.
P2 right behind his brother.
Absolutely
in front of Pastrana.
Perfect. And that's what we said. You remember earlier, Jared, if you got the chance to go early, then you can keep the door shut. So it's good tactics from the Eriksson squad. They might send Kevin on the next lap, but if not, they'll give Kevin enough time. What Ollie's got to watch out for here is Kevin doesn't stay out till lap 6 as well, because Kevin can stay out now with clear track in front. If he can put enough of a gap between him and Ollie, he might just stay out and nick the win.
All right. I guess. Put your brother in second. Like you said, team order, does that come into play?
It's 2.6 back to Larson, Jared. That's what they'll be watching out for. They're never going to give up a P1 and P2. So if they don't feel Kevin has got enough of a gap, they'll keep him out there for another lap to see if they can gap Larson by a bit more. Larson will know about that now. He's got a sniff of getting P2 instead of P3, and they've left Kevin out. So Kevin's going to try and get enough of a gap to try and hold Larson off. Larson's got a Joker as well. So yeah, it's tight between them.
All right, so Kevin Eriksson still out in front. Larson, look at that. So yeah, Larson, just styles for miles, man. The way he's doing it, and Andreas talked about that. Just the way he's sending it, the way he's really just initiating. He's driving very aggressively. You know, Pastrana. Oh, look at his brother. We got brotherly love, or brother not so much love. Look at that.
Got him.
Oh, Ollie's gonna twist the screws right now.
Now Larson's gone, Jared. They can send him when they want. So the thing was, they both had to Joker. If they sent him, it was a danger of getting him in with Larson. They can send him now because Larson's 6.3 back. That puts Ollie nicely in front, puts Kevin in the rear gunner position. The key was Larson going. Everybody's joking except your leader, Kevin Eriksson.
And look at that. Pastrana back to 5th. Fraz, our TQ yesterday, top qualifier, up to 4th place. And you can see the Eriksson 1 and 2, just making it look easy.
So the championship top 5 look are in P2, 3, 4, and 5 at the minute. That will be P1 for Ollie when his brother goes Joker, which he does now. So Oliver Eriksson back to the point. Kevin Eriksson going to slot into P2. Then it's Larson, then it's McConnell. But Andreas Backerud, look, who's second in the standings, Jared, has dropped to 8th place.
Wow, that is huge. So Backerud slides back to 8th. Larson sitting at 3rd behind the Eriksson bros. And look at, the Eriksson's just so dominant, and it's showing, that they were developmental drivers for this vehicle. They were the test pilots. Ollie Eriksson, he's seen just peaks and valleys throughout the season. And, what's that?
If I were the other teams, I'd love to be looking at the settings. And they will have sent someone up there, Jared.
Take a look.
Some
They're right
stuff
there.
You can see. Yeah, but there's also the physical things on the car. Where are the anti-roll bar drop links? Just little things you can do to go, what are they doing different to us? Because the pace of these two in both their qualifying heats and then in the final is outrageous. I'm not suggesting anything untoward. I'm saying they've dialed it in.
Well, what's the difference of McConnell, Fraz yesterday into today?
Yeah,
the conditions.
I don't know.
I would say that because Fraz is used to the dirt, but just how much this track has transformed from yesterday into today. Remember, Kevin Eriksson developed all these things. I think that's the big equation here. Just the slush and how you see it. We're seeing a yellow flag.
Maybe they've dialed it in a little bit more than everybody else as the conditions have changed. But either way, Jared, Eriksson's on the front row. Look, they've executed this perfectly. That championship front runner, Robin Larson, is still there and in the mix. He's going to be on the podium again. He's missed one so far this season.
All right, so Ollie Eriksson out front, who's in a championship contention. Looks like he's going to take it to the top. Kevin Eriksson second. Robin Larson, again, shout out to KB Forever. A beautiful livery there on Travis Pastrana's vehicle. But Ollie Eriksson looks like he gets the victory. Kevin Eriksson second. Robin Larson will bring in third. You see Connor Martell. He is a lapper there. And congratulations to Ollie and Kevin, 1 and 2. Robin Larson, our points leader, gets 3rd place.
Oliver Eriksson finally translates into a win. You know, he's come close a couple of times, and this time he's got it done.
Yep, the fist pump from him. Ollie, I told him, you know, earlier today when he had some words, he wears his emotion on his sleeve. When he's unhappy, you can read him like a book. When he's stoked, you can read him like a book. I love that. The transparency of what he wants, when he's bummed, when he's happy. Kevin Eriksson, his brother, I saw a panda bear riding shotgun. It's on the dashboard. I have to assume that's from his newborn child. He's a happy dad now. Pastrana, I know he's going to beat himself up a little bit, but just the variable of the track, the conditions, what's going on, and, you know, he should be really proud. You know, what do you think? Look at the emotions running deep.
So that is Oliver Eriksson taking the win here in Canada. He's the 8th new driver to win in Nitro Rallycross ever. It's his first ever win from his brother. A 1-2 for them, the Erikssons and OMSC. Finally, they got it done. Championship leader Robin Larson gets P3 to the title race.
Wow, a beautiful backdrop here to a historic race. You know, Trois Rivières, here we are in Montreal, Canada. We have 3 more rounds left, one of which is still up here in the Great White North. Then we have our doubleheader to crown a 2022/23 Nitro Rallycross champion, the debut of the FC1X. First time on ice, first time on snow, 1,000 horsepower, 8,000 horsepower on track overall. The Erikssons show you why they are some of the best rallycross racers in the world, and it came together, all came together for Ollie Eriksson. Let's take a look at the overall championship standings. Robin Larson came in. Looks like, again, after round 7, Larson still holds on to it. Backaroo does as well. Ollie moves into 4th. You can see 344, 283. Do the math. We still have 3 rounds left. A lot of points to grab. Who's going to come out on top? We'll find out in California.
Another look at this start then. So off the line, look, everybody's getting a bit sideways. Pastrana went low, then changed his mind or got kicked up high again. Holds on to P3. Ollie Eriksson just comes in nicely on his brother. Him and Kevin were never going to do anything stupid in turn 1, Jared, and that's one of the keys, isn't it? Front row. He's not trying to go, can I get the whole shot over the other dude on the front row? Ah, look there. Tagging the bank and going round was Pastrana. So Pastrana got wide and buried the rear right out in the bank there and almost spun himself out of contention. This was Ollie with that one sideways moment. Fraser McConnell easily round the outside. Well, I say easily, sideways round the outside of Martel.
Well, unfortunately, Connor had some issues. You saw him; he was a lapper. You know, when Ollie crossed the finish line, Connor was there.
Ollie Eriksson, though, Jared, twice TQ this year, didn't get it done. Finally, he's got his win here. He's the 5th different winner this year, and I say the 8th different winner.
I didn't see that.
No, that's the 2nd time.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Holy
so that's what happened to Baccarat. Running the marshals out the way. Oh, they're like, stop, dude.
Pastrana did not see that.
No, so that was all going on in the background. We didn't see any of that during the course of the race. Ollie Eriksson coming around to lap Martel. Wow. Wow, unbelievable. Donuts for Eriksson. Say finally getting the job done. 5th different winner this season, 8th different winner in the history of this brilliant championship. That includes, you know, the original, the IC Nitro Rallycross and Nitro Rallycross now. There's Robin Larson on the podium again. 6 out of 7 podiums. Fantastic. It's a win for Eriksson. 1-2 for the family.
You can tell there's a whole lot of celebrations down here for Ollie Eriksson as his first ever Nitro Rallycross win. Congratulations. First and foremost, I got to introduce you to your new trophy. That is one that you've been working for a very long time, both you and your team. A little bit kiss, there we go. You said finally, and it finally came together. You guys look like a different team and drivers out there today versus yesterday. What was the big difference making?
No, we found the details, you know. We struggled yesterday to read the track. Read the start line obviously was a big thing when we cut the laps down, but today we figured it out. Kevin did starts now that yesterday he was nowhere in the starts, and now all of a sudden he does great starts. So yeah, I'm just so relieved. And yeah, thanks to the OMC guys. Even though the prop shaft broke in lap 2 in the final, lucky thing they're electric cars. I still had motors in the front to pull me around 4-wheel drive. But yeah, it was a struggle. But yeah, maybe it was good when the ruts came. The car was more independent. So.
As it relates to that race in general, it was a good battle. As it relates to you, your brother, Robin, it was a full throttle experience. Were you cool, calm, and collected in the helmet?
Both yes and no. For my personal race, yeah. But obviously lap 1 over the big kink coming into the horse track, I heard some weird noise, and then out on the straight on lap 2 it just escalated, and I felt it a bit, and I managed to feel that it was probably the prop shaft broken, so I started smelling some weird stuff, but I kept going, you know. I'm not gonna give this one up easy, but yeah, as I said, we have 2 motors in the front, 2 in the rear, and they both seem to pull, so yeah, I just tried to manage that, you know. It was a lot of noise, a lot of vibration in there, but yeah, I think my driving was pretty spotless. I did one mistake, I went a bit wide once, but other than that, I kept in the ruts. As I said before the event, that's going to be the biggest thing. Everyone can drive in snow of these guys, but it's how we manage the ruts, and I managed to do it good this time.
A beautiful win for Ollie Eriksson, sharing a podium with his brother Kevin Eriksson. A job well done as Andreas Eriksson comes in to give his son a big hug.
This is probably the biggest win of Oliver Eriksson's career, Jared.
Yeah.
You know, he's won at lots of levels in rallycross, but you'd have to regard this as one of the highest levels, and he's just taken a victory. So yeah, fantastic, big trophy, checker flag, you know, party time.
Yeah, it was an all Swedish podium as well, you know, with Robin Larsson.
The Swedish wall.
The Swedish wall, man, and they did it. Congratulations to Ollie Eriksson, Kevin Eriksson, Robin Larsson. Let's take a look at the My Energy Best Pass, and they're saying it's Meek, but let's take a look. Chris Meek goes in, goes out, pushing in on. That's Larson.
I'll tell you what, I think that's more borderline than his pass in Phoenix, to be honest. But
a bit bullish.
Yeah, but cool. You know, and impressive for Larson holder. Yeah, I'll take that. To be fair, I was thinking Kevin Eriksson around the outside earlier on in the day, but yeah, it was a good forceful rallycross pass, and kind of sorry we didn't see Meek in the final, but somebody had to not make
Here's the A-Shock Energy big air moment, and the Eriksson bros 1 and 2. There's Kevin Eriksson and Ollie Eriksson. There they are at the 1 and 2. They took it to the top.
A nice result after, you know, Kevin Eriksson still looking for that top step, isn't he, after what happened at the start of the season, all the work those guys put into developing this car. But they're going to be so stoked. We've seen how it's performed. We've seen it on pavement, we've seen it on dirt, we've seen it on snow and ice. I think it's been a great weekend. Hope you've had a good time too, man.
Thank you so much. We'll see you in Calgary. Nitro Rallycross action continues. We'll crown a champion at our double header at Glen Helen. Join us for more. Go Nitro! Nitro Rallycross. We have Andrew Cole, Streetbike Tommy, Katie Osborne. I'm Jared Dieta. Send it!